I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Mack. Well, your full forecast at 4 is actually going to be wall-to-wall tornado coverage. So what we've got going on is the line of thunderstorms that we were expecting has indeed come into play here. And what we are watching with this is a new tornado warning that has been issued. It's for a storm that actually has a history of damage as it's gone through parts of Owen County. So you're now talking the extreme northern tip of Scott County. So this is even north of Sadieville, but in and around Corinth there in Grant County. This goes then into the northwestern corner of Harrison County. This is going to be even north and west of Cynthiana. But this is a tornado warning, and this tornado warning is going to be in effect until 4:30. So for the folks who have produced LEX-18 News at 4 o'clock, you're looking at it from here on out. So again, we've got a potential tornadic storm, and again, a storm that has a history of producing damage back in Owen County that is now basically getting ready to cross into Harrison County at this point. You see some of the communities: Berry at 405, Robinson 409, McKinney'sburg 419, Oddville at 421. So again, that's for that cell, and that's basically right on the hook that is within this. So this cell itself is basically sitting within a bigger line. So it's a supercell that's embedded within the line of storms that's coming on through. So again, that tornado warning until 4:30 for folks in Harrison County and the extreme northern tip of Scott County, north of Sadieville. So when we're talking the tornado warning, what do? You basically, we'll tell you what you need to do. We have our sea duck here. With that, you are watching the storm coming in. You need to be in your shelters now. So if you're not in that polygon, which we were showing you, which would be Georgetown, you're not included in the warning. Stamping Ground's not included in the warning. But if you're in northern Scott County, northern Harrison County, you want to close the interior doors. You want to get downstairs. You want to get under something big, heavy, and sturdy, center of the house, and keep away from windows and doors, sources of flying glass. Sea Duck will help you stay safe in the event of a tornadic situation. So again, that's our rules for severe weather and hoping to keep you safe. So again, that's for folks who are in northern Scott County and the northwestern part there of Harrison County. You can see this has that supercell structure. We've got the yellow, or the pinks and the blacks in there. So that's likely going to be some hail approaching Robinson and Berry. And then you get within that notch, that's Renneker, Breckenridge, you see right there, just passed by Cordova. You've got Corinth here on the back side of all this. Again, we're looking at this on our max track at this point. What we can do is change the radar and give you maybe a little different perspective on this. Let's look at the velocities on this. And so actually, this is showing the velocity back north of Blanchett. So this is running a little bit behind. This is showing the rotation back up into Grant County there. But again, our tornado warning is for Harrison County with all this. So let's take you back to the max track, because that is going to be the live look at where this storm is. And so there we are, hopefully, there we are. So again, it's buried within the whole line. When I'm saying the whole line here, so you folks in Harrison County, go ahead and be in your safe spots. So here's the big picture. You've got this line that blossomed, that exploded in southern Indiana about an hour and a half ago. And now it's crossing into parts of central Kentucky. There's also a severe thunderstorm warning associated with this. That severe thunderstorm warning is for Franklin County until 4:45. It's going to be for Anderson County until 4:45. Woodford County, 4:45. Most of Mercer County. Does not look like it includes Harrodsburg, though, until 4:45. You can also throw then Washington County, as well as Nelson County and Shelby County in there until 4:45. That for a damaging wind gust potential. And there's been reports of wind damage coming out of Oldham County with that cell as it came through. So again, this is a very active scenario, one that we have been forecasting for you now basically since the end of last week, but really we're hitting it hard yesterday. So again, the storms are still, it's 4 o'clock now. These storms are going to be another 45 minutes to an hour out of Lexington. But that just gives you an approximate timeline on this. But right now, our primary focus is going to be this tornado warning that you see up here, primarily for Harrison County, 4:30 for that tornado warning. Again, Scott County, a little corner of it is caught in there. Truthfully, I would suspect that little corner is probably not going to see anything out of this, as it looks like now that is now edging more into Harrison County. When we're talking the supercell structure of this, so again, you're seeing the notching in there within that main line. Little unusual to see a supercell within the line like that. But again, there's so much shear available today that there are some unusual things going on. Fairly broad circulation still showing up on this. But again, you see that near Barry, where you're seeing the hail, and then the notching is going to be right here, right around Breckenridge, between Hinton and Breckenridge, as you're looking into Harrison and Scott counties there. Again, this is north of Sadieville. So again, even that far northern community in Scott County is not included in the tornado warning. So if you've got the Storm Tracker weather app and you're thinking you're in Scott County and you haven't seen the warning for you show up, it's because you're more than likely not in that polygon. You can see Cynthiana is not included in the polygon, but Garnet, Breckenridge, Renneker certainly is, and the storm is getting close to Renneker at this point. Looks like it's gone past Cordova and just passing now by Corinth. It's gone through the I-75 corridor there in southern Grant County. For you folks there, northern Scott, obviously it's raining really hard at this point. But again, the severe part of the storm is to the north. So again, you've got Georgetown, the Toyota plant. This is all well north of you. But the storm itself is approaching Cynthiana. Again, this is still a fairly broad circulation. We're seeing the purples up there toward Dry Ridge. That was for when the tornado warning itself was confirmed. But our tornado warning right now is radar indicated, and that is for folks in Harrison County until 4:30. As we are getting you prepared for this storm, we've obviously been talking about it for a couple of days here, and essentially what you are looking at is where you find your safe spots in your house. So this is a schematic. This is a rough way to look at it. So go ahead and we'll give you the 3D look. Where you want to be, your house has a basement, that's where you want to be. Underground if you at all can. If you don't have a basement, what you do then is you look for the interior part of your house. So in this particular schematic, it would be that bathroom there in the middle part of the house. You are away from all of the outside walls. You don't have windows around. You don't have glass doors or anything. That gives you the best protection. Also, that small room, especially with the plumbing in the walls, gives you a little bit of extra support. Secondarily, that closet there on the interior would be a decent place to be. And then you start with going into lesser options as you look again across that schematic. Obviously, your house is going to be different than this one, but it gives you an idea of where to be in case of that tornado. So again, this is all developing for folks now in Harrison County, where you see that flashing red. That is a tornado warning. That's coming off what was a confirmed tornado warning when the storm was coming out of Owen County and Grant County. Owen and Grant County are warned by the National Weather Service office in Wilmington, Ohio. Once it crosses into Harrison County, Scott County, it's from the National Weather Service office over in Louisville. So they've handed that storm off. Again, we're showing this as a fairly broad rotation, so we'll see how long this warning remains in effect. But until it is released by the Weather Service, this is when we're going to talk about this particular warning for you. So again, we've had damage reports coming out of Owen County, so the storm does have a history of producing damage as it came out of Owen County. Again, to the south of it, you have severe thunderstorm warnings. These severe thunderstorm warnings are for Woodford County until 4:45, Franklin until 4:45, Anderson 4:45. Storm hasn't even gotten into Mercer County yet, but 4:45 with the warning there. Washington County, same idea, severe thunderstorm warning for a storm that's still well to the north until 4:45. Parts of Spencer, Shelby County as well, and the extreme eastern part there of Nelson County. All a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect until 4:45. But again, our focus is that. And the line itself, by the way, is coming into all of central Kentucky. So we're going to see this pulling into the Lexington area, Georgetown, Paris, Nicholasville over the next hour, hour and a half. So the evening commute for a lot of folks could be dicey. I would advise a lot of folks, do not attempt to drive in these storms. This is not your standard setup by any stretch. The wind potential, just straight line winds, not talking tornadic. But the potential for straight line winds is great. And we're not talking just the lower end, 57 miles per hour or greater. Some of these storms may have hurricane force winds, at least as a wind gust. That is certainly a potential out of this. If you've been outside today, you know the day didn't feel normal. It was remarkably humid. The dew points have been running upper 70s and pushing 80 today. That is exceptionally high. So you have just fuel available for these storms. And we were waiting for this line to get here. We did not have the line early today, which could have taken some of the energy out of the atmosphere. Since that did not happen, that left everything available for the main event, which is now entering the area now. Not only do we have the severe weather potential out of these, let me put get the tornado warning on just to keep you advised what's going on, why we're here. Not only do we have the severe weather threat, but we also have flood watches that are up area-wide. The flood watch that is up is because these storms will have just absolutely tremendous tropical torrential downpours because there is so much moisture available to them that when they focus that, you can see just incredible rainfall rates. And so the potential is there again for quick flooding to occur on roads. Not only that, you have the potential for high winds while driving today. So again, I would not recommend driving through these storms. Wait for them to pass or get to where you need to beforehand. Now, if you're in southern Kentucky at this point, we'll expand it out real quick just to keep you guys. You're down here. You've got a few hours before anything's going on. But eventually these storms will be getting into southern and southeastern Kentucky as well. There's also a tornado warning back, looks like out toward Bullitt County, south of the Louisville area. So our main focus right now is this tornado warning that is in Harrison County. That is going to be in effect until 4:30. The storm itself is still west of Cynthiana. It's coming in through Barry at this point, or at least just south of Barry. Barry, you've got torrential rain ongoing. Robinson, you're closer to where the circulation is going to be. Breckenridge, same idea. You're closer to where this parent circulation is likely to be. So again, from Hinton over to Breckenridge to Robinson, this is the area right now that's under the gun. You guys are in shelters now. Anywhere east of there, between there and Cynthiana, you guys are in shelters now, waiting for this system to come on by. You might be seeing the small hail with this as well. But this particular cell has a history of damage with it when it was back in Owen County. So this tornado warning was actually fairly expected. These storms that are coming into Franklin County and into Woodford County, again, are also going to be damaging wind producers. We might have a camera. Big Blue. Let's see if we can, there we go. So that's an updated look. So we're looking out Leestown Road, or yeah, going to be actually going out, get me oriented here. That's Leestown Road. And so you're looking at that cell that's still out west. So you see the horizon's basically obscured in the rain that's approaching. But other than that, not an ominous exactly looking picture, but one, you can see the antennas are moving, but again, not kind of what I was expecting to see. Maybe it's just a little too far out at this point. I was expecting to see something a little more menacing. With that said, where it is stronger is on up towards Cynthiana, Breckenridge, Barry in Harrison County. So I'm leaving the scene there just for a second because stuff is printing out. So this is how I need to keep track of what's actually going on, aside from looking at a radar. So that's the tornado warning in Shepherdsville. Okay, so nothing new. I don't think they've issued anything else in terms of how this warning is progressing out of Harrison County. So again, just trying to get some updated info for you real quick as you are watching that radar and the tornado warning in Harrison County. You folks in Barry, be aware that you are close to this. Breckenridge, you're pretty close to where the circulation is going to be with this as well. So this storm is one that you do not want to take lightly by any stretch. And by the way, the tornado warning itself does not mean go out with your cell phone camera. Let's see, they've got a confirmed tornado out by Fort Knox, where they're getting a debris signature from that. They've got flood warnings now in the Louisville area. And I'm just trying to, again, just any updated information I can get for you here real quick as you continue to watch that radar return for that tornado warning that's in northwestern Harrison County. So again, Breckenridge, you are pretty close to where this storm would be at this point. Barry, you are embedded in the heavy rain. And there's been nothing else issued regarding this particular cell. So that's where we sit at this point as we continue to track this as it heads toward, eventually towards Cynthiana. So again, Cynthiana, you guys are prepared. be getting close to where you need to be. You're technically not in the warning yet in Cynthiana proper, but just west and north of Cynthiana, you are in that tornado warning polygon, and you need to be in your safe shelters at this point. So again, that's where we sit right now. The tornado warning continues. I do not want you going out at this point trying to get pictures of this. If you're in western northern Harrison County here, wait for the storm to pass. If you have something interesting, it'll still be there after the storm has passed and when it's safe to head on back out. So again, this cell itself is now approaching Cynthiana. Cynthiana, you're not in the warning yet. It would probably be prudent because it's getting close. It would be prudent if you're in Cynthiana, you would probably need to be getting into your shelter now. Even though you're technically not in that polygon, you can see it's just west of Cynthiana. They're just west of the Licking River. So you may want to go ahead and just be proactive. It doesn't hurt to go in there for 10 or 15 minutes, wherever your shelter happens to be. That shelter should not be a mobile home, by the way. So we get rid of that. There we go. All right. So Robinson now is into the heavy rain. Connorsville, you see that here in the western part there of Harrison County, near the Scott County line. You guys are likely into the heavy rain here at this point as well. Any potential of the tornadic storm with this is going to be somewhere around Breckenridge. Breckenridge, maybe over toward Garnet. Oddville, again, you're out of the particular polygon with this, but again, it's getting closer to where Cynthia is. This storm has accelerated eastward, southeastward over the last 15-20 minutes or so. So again, this storm has had a little more giddy up than what it had earlier when it was coming off to the east and southeast. We don't want to lose track of the severe weather coming into Woodford County. You folks in Midway are getting in on that heavy wind now at this point. Heavy rain as well, down to about the castle there at Pisgah, Lawrenceburg to Alton and Anderson County. So again, that's a severe thunderstorm warning until 4:45. Franklin County and from Frankfort southward, 4:45 with that. So it's basically I-64 and south in Franklin County. The warning itself extends into Mercer County. You don't have much going on there yet, but you will 4:45 also when we look into Washington County. Heavy storms now. Western and northern parts of Anderson County, coming out of Shelby County into southern and western parts of Franklin County, northern half of Woodford County. I'll tell you what, that storm that's between in between the warnings here. There is no warning right now for that storm in Scott County. It is, at the very least, you've got torrential rain there around Skinnersburg, going to be back towards Stamping Ground, Mallard Point getting on that, just coming up on the Toyota plant just north of Georgetown. That is a formidable storm, although not warned for at this point. But again, remember that even if without the warning, storms can still be a dangerous thing. The storm in Harrison County, there's your tornado warning again as it's approaching Cynthiana. Actually, you can see it happening here. Okay, so what's happening? See how this is bulging out like that? So what you've got is that's the rear flanking downdraft coming in. That's actually the jet impinging on that. So this whole thing is bowing out. There's going to be some wind damage out here on the front of this as we are looking now basically from Delaplane over toward the south and west parts of Harrison County. So again, you can see that bowing taking place right there. That's also probably what's imparting that rotation, a little break in the line right in there. So that's what we're looking at with that particular cell in Harrison County with that tornado warning now until 4:30. The cells are just now, the heavier rain just coming in on the northwest side of Lexington, or northwest side of Fayette County, with the severe thunderstorm coming through Woodford, Anderson, and Franklin counties as well, into not quite into Mercer County yet. Tornadic cell continues again with that tornado warning till 4:30 in Harrison County. The storm itself is getting awfully close to Cynthiana. You know what? Cynthiana is not under a warning right now, and we said that before. Cynthiana, I want you guys, be proactive for the next 15 minutes. Be in shelter. I don't like the look of that as this whole thing's coming in. So remember how we talked about how the wind, the bowing was taking place right there? Well, that bowing is coming around this way. That allows everything to begin to rotate counterclockwise back into the whole inner circulation there. So again, that area right around Cynthiana, I'm a little concerned about at this point. You got the Robin is a bit of lightning. Now that not being Cynthiana, but that that you don't trifle with that in this situation. Stuff can develop really quick. Again, the line it's taking on a little bit more of an awkward lead. Instead of that one linear look, you see how it's bowing, breakaway, downway, and that's how we're seeing this state across central Kentucky. Yeah, that is a looking storm there. Bourbon County, storms are getting closer to you. They're not there yet. Scott County, again, you've got a nasty storm. Still sitting up, just approaching the Toyota plant at this point on over toward Georgetown. Severe weather coming Woodford and Anderson, Franklin counties. I'm seeing getting now into central parts of Harry. But again, the tornado warning itself, 4:30, and we'll see if that gets into. In fact, let me go check again. Weather about 25 steps away from the wall you see there. So let's see what we've got going on. Hey. Actually, they're contemplating lowering the warning in Harrison County. Stay in your shelter for a few more minutes in Harrison County. Just again, because I don't like the look of that meeting. The warning technically remains in place. So Harrison, again, that's just about out of the warning. So if that's the case also, Annie and Drew, just in case they drop this early, because this thing really accelerated. But again, if they drop it early, be ready, may actually come over to the regular part of the newscast here. But as of right now, they are going to continue at least for a few more minutes. They have not dropped it yet. But I, again, just a little concerned on that lead edge. You know, I think you can see what I'm talking about here. Right, Cynthia, it's not real well defined, but that is certainly, yeah, it's getting more ragged on that pass as well. So the storm itself is just a warning polygon that I mean, don't get me wrong, western northern Harrison County right now. I mean, you've got torrential rain. The lightning is continuing a little, but not much. But again, that storm is now moving in on Cynthia. You folks from the Toyota plant up northern part of Scott County, Heinersville and Stamping Ground, just about now into Georgetown. Seeing that set, now getting in on the north side of Georgetown. Along in North, come over toward Forks of Elkhorn, Frankfort, down into Middle there in Woodford County. So you got your severe thunderstorm warning continuing in Woodford County. Heavier rain in the west side of Lexington out toward Keeneland. Bristol, you've got a downpour in Lawrenceburg. You've got the heavy rain out toward Alton in Anderson. That's part of that severe thunderstorm. We'll bring out Big Rick. We want to remind you, let's see, they pulled the tornado warning. So there we go. So the tornado warning for County has been pulled. Still, to me, strong severe thunderstorm. You know, the warning has technically passed. But again, it's still a formidable storm. Just be safe on that. We're not going to be here till 4:30 with this. So with that said, heavy thunderstorms now, strong thunderstorms, Harrison County, Scott County. Severe warned storms, Franklin County, Woodford, Anderson County. A severe thunderstorm warning will continue until 4:45 in Mercer and Washington counties as well. So that again set up, and again we've got severe thunderstorms all the way back I-65 corridor. We're going to eye on this. Drew and Annie, you guys ready?
You okay. Gotcha.
Okay, so that's where we are now. Again, still aware for the next several hours. Remember, these storms are headed southeast. They're going to be headed into southern and east Kentucky as we go through the next several hours. So get used to seeing us pop up with warnings here throughout the course of the afternoon. We'll send it over now for LET News at 4 with Annie and Drew.
All right, Bill, thanks very much, and make sure you have the latest information as conditions change in central Kentucky and wherever you go. Download our free Storm Weather app to get warnings and alerts. No matter where you are, you can find it in your device's app store.
And there's a music festival coming up this weekend that's going to give back to those affected. But before we get to that story, let's check in with Bill and see what the latest is with our active weather. Bill, what can you tell us?
Well, the storms separated a little bit as they were approaching Lexington and central Kentucky. Where they separated, you now have a storm that's basically working in its own environment, and with that, a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued. This is going to be for Bourbon County until 5:30, the northern part of Clark County until 5:30, but it also extends into Montgomery and Bath counties until 5:45. This cell is different than what is going through areas south of Lexington. You notice how, again, it's in its own environment. It's taken on a little bit of a hook shape here. So again, it's got shear to work with. That particular cell, you can see where it's going to be headed toward. North Middletown, 523, side view at 531, Grassy Lick, 535, Judy, 539. Again, we're going to keep a very close eye on this storm as it's in its own environment and, again, has a little bit of shear available to it. But, again, for you folks from Paris to North Middletown to Camargo to Mount Sterling, be aware that you have a severe thunderstorm headed your way.
I'm Anna Medina, your Lexington Metro reporter. And this Saturday, the 5th annual Flood with Love Music Festival is...
Latest is a new tornado warning has just been issued, so we're going to be in wall-to-wall coverage here for a while. The Weather Service office in Jackson has gone ahead and issued downstream from the cell that's sitting back between North Middletown and Paris. They've gone ahead and issued a tornado warning now. So this is going to be a tornado warning until 6 o'clock. So this is going to be a long time here. So 6 o'clock for Montgomery County. It's going to be in for Menifee County. It's also going to be for Bath County. And you're also clipping the extreme northern part there of Powell County with a new tornado warning. So again, this tornado warning is going to be until 6 o'clock for a cell. And truthfully, this cell does have a rotation going on in at this point. It's a severe thunderstorm warning between Paris and North Middletown. But again, you're seeing that hooking right in there. So with that in mind, you are again looking at the cell coming to the southeast. So BTI number sitting at 4.6. That BTI is the tornado index. So that's a fairly high number for us, especially this time of the year. The cell itself is about 42,000 feet high. North Middletown at 520, Grassy Lick 532, Reed Village 537, Mount Sterling at 540. So again, that is a potentially tornadic storm that is sitting right now in Bourbon County. The warning itself has been extended downstream, so it becomes a tornado warning. Montgomery County. Looks like we've also now gone tornado in Bourbon County as well as northern Clark County. So again, let's add to that tornado warning. So if you are in North Middletown, you are in shelter now. Stony Point, you're in shelter now. Judy, you see that there, northern part of Montgomery County. Ewington, Mount Sterling, you guys are in shelter now. That'll clip then the northern part of Clark County north of Winchester. So again, that's the tornado warning that's out there. So what do you do with the tornado warning? We want you to be safe. So we always recommend something we call C-Duck. C-Duck is you close your interior door. If you have time to do it now. If you don't, just get downstairs. You want to be under something big, heavy, sturdy. You want to be away from windows and doors, be in the center part of your house. That is what we call C-Duck here, and that's how you can be safe, hopefully, in the event that the tornado is bearing down on you. Tornado warning does not mean go outside on your porch right now with your cell camera trying to get a picture of this. Basically, you need to be in the safe spot. And this thing really is beginning to wrap up. So again, you're seeing that classic hook shape taking place. With that, you're looking at the storm relative velocities. So you got the reds and the greens next to each other here between Stony Point and North Middletown. So again, that's where you need to be in your safe spot. Let's see if we get a different view from Jackson on this. So again, same idea, same place with the rotation right in there between North Middletown and Stony Point in Bourbon County is where we are looking at this potential tornado at this point. So again, you see your times of arrival here. Your safety needs to take paramount at this point and get to your safe spots. So within that larger severe thunderstorm warning we had earlier, it has been transitioned over to the tornado warning, and we're going to be with you here for a while. So again, it's a classic shape. When you look at the big picture, remember just a little bit ago, this was one solid line. And when you got the solid line, more than likely you're going to get straight line winds. But the line broke. See, there are two gaps showing up right there. So this storm is its own environment, and with the shear that's available today, and there is a lot of it. This is unusual for July to see this amount of shear. It's almost like a springtime amount of shear available in the atmosphere for a storm like this. You combine that with just how muggy it was today. That's storm fuel. And so you put summertime fuel, springtime energy, and you can end up with storms like this, which again for July is somewhat unusual. But North Middletown, you guys are in your shelters now. Judy, you're in your shelters. Mount Sterling, you're in your shelters. Jeffersonville toward Camargo, you've got a few minutes, but don't wait too long, but be thinking, where is your safe spot to go? As we continue to see the tornado in Bourbon County, this is going to maybe clip that far northwest corner of Clark County. Montgomery County, so you see side view right in there. Grassy Lick and Judy, again, all in the path of this cell. You see the rotation going on right in there, so or at least the hooking going on right in there of what is a supercell storm. You're seeing the pinks and the blacks showing up. That's going to be where the hail is, and that is also a sign that this storm is a supercell and developed in its own environment. South of this, not to forget about anybody else with straight line wind damage potential. You've got a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Fayette County until 6, Madison County until 6, Garrett County until 6, Jessamine County, that's going to be southern Jessamine County until 6, Boyle 6, northern part of Lincoln County until 6, and I think we had Garrett there earlier till 6 o'clock. So that's a severe thunderstorm warning. The tornado warning that had been out west of Lebanon, that has been allowed to expire, but you do have severe thunderstorm warnings associated with it. So that's just bringing you up to speed on all of the systems, but the one of greatest concern is the one that is sitting in Boyle County, or in Bourbon County. So 5:30. For that tornado warning in Bourbon County as the storm is near North Middletown. Again, this is going to be over toward Bunker Hill, Sideview, and Grass. By the way, we had that video earlier from Owen County, which showed what was likely a tornado. There were damage reports that came out of Owen County. So again, that's likely going to be confirmed as a tornado. That was the storm earlier this afternoon. But again, this cell near North Middletown, now getting closer to the Montgomery County line. This is again going to clip the northern part of Clark County, that north tip of Clark County right there. So again, this is well north of Winchester. But for you folks in Paris, again, okay, Paris, you're not included in this. So you're thinking, okay, you've got your app, you're sitting up maybe Ruddles Mill and thinking, okay, I'm in Bourbon County, but I haven't gotten a warning. Well, it's because you're outside of these polygons. The only people who are getting the warnings are within these polygons. And if you're in North Middletown, first you got the severe thunderstorm warning, and then you got the tornado warning on top of it. But again, the tornado itself, if it's still producing one, is very close to North Middletown at this point. So again, we'll scooch that over here. A lot of stuff on the screen here for you. So again, there's your tornado warning, Bourbon County until 5:30, 6 o'clock for Montgomery County. But again, the communities, I mean, essentially it's over North Middletown right now. Judy comes up at 5:38, Mount Sterling 5:42. We'll keep an eye on these numbers also down here, moving to the southeast at about 30 miles an hour. So again, at least the storm has some movement to it. It's not sitting in one spot. But again, you see that draw the line right there from North Middletown to Mount Sterling. So this will move along and just north of Highway 460. So you folks there, be in your shelters now. For that tornado warning in Bourbon, 5:30, Montgomery County until 6, and it does extend eastward into southern Bath and Menifee counties until 6 o'clock as well. It technically clips the extreme northern part of Powell County, north of the Mountain Parkway, north of Stanton, and that is going to be also until 6 o'clock. But the cell is still sitting in Bourbon County. So again, this is to the southeast of Paris. Let's go ahead and pull those towns, the times of arrival off so you get a better look. There's North Middletown right there, just passed by Stony Point. So again, you guys in Stony Point are going to be in the clear with this. But you look out toward Plum, you're going to get the heavy rain. Judy, you're going to see the storm passing very close to you. Again, this is on a track taking it right toward Mount Sterling. In fact, if you were drawing it out, keep in mind it's moving at around 30 miles an hour. So how far is it from Mount Sterling? Mount Sterling to the rotation's only about 11 miles. So that's how far away this storm is from you at this point. And again, we want you to be in your shelters and be prepared with that cell as it's coming in your direction. So the tornado warning again for North Middletown, not Paris, in Bourbon County. Lexington is not under any warnings, at least in the central part of Lexington. You get into southern Fayette County, though, from 8th and southward, headed toward Clay's Ferry. You are looking at a severe thunderstorm warning there. Nicholasville still has the very heavy rain on going back toward Keene and Wilmore. High Bridge, you have the severe thunderstorm warning. Richmond, you have a severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be in effect until 6. Garrett until 6. Boyle until 6. That includes Danville. Harrodsburg, you've got the heavy rain ongoing right now, 6 o'clock. And we also had reports earlier again from Anderson County of flash flooding going on in Lawrenceburg. So there again is your setup. The break in the line, with that break in the line, that allowed a cell to basically pull in the shear that's around it, and it's began the rotation that you see. So let's see if we can get a different look at this. We'll look at it from the Jackson radar real quick here and pop that in, see if we're still seeing rotation, and not so much. So not as well. There you see it on the straight velocity display. So right over North Middletown, the storm relative didn't have it, but the base velocity does. Shear product, it's in the weaker category. So again, it's still there. Stay in your shelters with this. North Middletown, Sideview, Grassy Lick, all coming in your direction at this point. Their radar happens to show, again, not as an impressive look as ours had. So again, heavy rain, little hail and Grassy Lick. North Middletown is where, if the storm is doing anything, that's about where it's going to be. If we've seen any kind of debris signature, which we have not. So again, there's no tornado debris signature showing up with this. That was just a quick check on that. Again, you see the reds and greens, but again, not terribly strong at this point. So the storm may be cycling to a degree. Let's pull that off. So again, you saw the severe thunderstorm. I was trying to get that off there. Let's go ahead and back to the Max Track and give you the live radar display. Bring things up to speed here for you. So there you go. So near North Middletown, and getting close to Sideview, that's a tornado warning. For Montgomery County, so you're getting to Sideview, Grassy Lick, and Judy, 6 o'clock on that tornado warning. You know, it's a long fuse tornado warning that they've got in play there. A storm that's probably going through cycling at this point. But what we want you to do is, again, just be safe. Now, again, we showed you earlier sea duck. There are other ways that we kind of inform you how to stay safe. And so with that, we give you kind of the cross section here. So you're thinking, okay, where do I need to go? Well, if your house has a basement, that's where you go. Down there, into the basement. If your house does not have a basement, well, then what you do, and take this house and adapt it to yours. If you've got the interior room right here, that bathroom is the safest place to be in this particular schematic here. It's away from all the exterior walls, no windows, no doors. It actually has plumbing in the wall, which adds strength to the walls itself. A secondary one would be the small closets there, at least as another potential for you, but it gives you an idea where to be. When we talk about the sea duck or the downstairs, you know, your basement, this is the good place. You want to be under something big, heavy, and sturdy. That would include things like a big, heavy table, if you can get under a couch, inside a bathtub. Again, good places to be. Under a staircase is a good place to be, as long as it's not on an exterior wall, because those stairs are very strong and can help protect you from flying debris. Keep a bike helmet nearby if you can, and again, wait till the storm has passed, and then you can get the pictures if you want to do that, if it's safe. So again, tornado warning till 6 for Montgomery County, and the storm is just taking its time coming out of Bourbon County, 5:30. You still see that little bit of a circulation, although not as impressive as it was 10 minutes ago or so. So again, over North Middletown is where we're seeing that, just about at the Montgomery County line, to help you get oriented there. So what you're seeing with this structurally, and this may be why they were getting a little bit of weakening. So it's coming around the backside. See this line right here? That's called a flanking line. And so what's happening is the rear flanking downdrafts coming in there and probably undercutting the flow into that, which may be disrupting the circulation into that parent cell. So with all that said, you still have the tornado warning in place. 5:30 here for Bourbon County, so another 5 minutes until that exits off into Montgomery County. I would suspect we'll pull Clark County out at that point as well. But until that happens, we still have to watch that cell as it approaches the Montgomery County line. North Middletown, again, is where we're seeing the greatest impacts from this. If it's doing anything, that's where the storm is going to be. So again, we're just showing you the different products we have here to try and help you tell the story, or help you get the story. Not much showing up at that point. Yeah, it's showing up very, very loosely from that perspective. So we'll see if these warnings stay till their maturation time. You're still seeing the shear going on here. That's going to be just south of North Middletown. So we're going near Highway 460. We're seeing at least, again, a degree of rotation going on, but not as broad or not as strong as it was looking earlier, but it is there still nonetheless. And the shear rate, again, you got a pocket showing up there now getting across into Montgomery County, where again, you're getting into the stronger rotation category with this particular cell. Bring the radar back on for you just to give you that truer look as to what is going on. So again, can you see kind of it wrapping up in there? So again, you see the definite curl. So that is what's going on. There's your structure of the supercell on a storm that's in its own environment here. So again, getting ready to leave out of Bourbon County. It's still just south of North Middletown. You folks still need to be in shelter. And this is going to be very close to Highway 460. So that's going to take from 460, just take it right down toward Mount Sterling is going to be your path for this storm. Side view, you are still very much in your shelters now. So again, that's Montgomery County for the warning until 6 o'clock. We're going to see if I'm going to check some data here real quick, but you continue to watch that storm. You know your safe places to be. And with that, you again see the storm there. Tornado warning until 6 o'clock for Montgomery County. And again, that really is starting to curl up there around just south of North Middletown again. So you folks, again, do not get out of your shelters. Wait for these storms to pass. Just seeing if the folks out of Jackson. Yeah, it's essentially we're watching for cycling going on with these storms. The storms they get into a better environment. They're able to go ahead then and spin up a quick tornado, and then what the conditions that produce that basically spin themselves out, and then it goes through another cycling process. So that's what we're seeing with this particular storm. Because you see how the last scan, it essentially tore the hooking apart. So these are taking place on scales of about a minute or so. Right now, these warnings are still in effect. It looks like the tornado, let me pull this back out. So you've still got the 2 tornado warnings that are in place. 5:30 for the Bourbon County. I don't think that's going to be extended out. It's just about ready to cross into Montgomery County. So again, you folks in side view, you are in shelter. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. No matter what cycling may be going on here, this storm is potentially tornadic, and you need to be in that shelter. Back toward Judy, you've got exceedingly heavy rain in progress. The storm itself is going to probably pass just to the south of Judy, but it's going to be close. But again, we're getting awfully close to Mount Sterling at this point as well. So again, you're talking about a significant community that is going to be in the path for this over the next about 15 minutes or so. So now we're coming up on 5:30 and should pull the warning out then from Bourbon and Clark County. The storm itself, I'd probably again stay just north of Clark County anyway. Ewington, again, you've got the heavy rain in progress. Side view, the storm is approaching you. You got Highway 460 right in there where we're seeing that. Again, just see if we're getting on any other. When it's going through cycles like this, it's hard to keep the constant track on it. This is not like what we saw with the Somerset and London tornado that was a long track, continuous storm. This one goes through pulses. And when you see the pulse up is when you can get some rotation down to the ground potentially, and then it spins itself back out again. But you can't time those. So until this whole thing does what it's going to do, and then you see the warnings were pulled from Bourbon and Clark County now. So we are down to tornado warning for Montgomery until 6 o'clock. And I would suspect the way Jackson works that they are going to probably keep that warning in place until 6 o'clock, even though that storm is now headed into Montgomery County. And again, it's lost a little bit of its circulation look that it had a little bit ago. But still, until that warning is pulled, you stay in place. So again, Montgomery County until 6 o'clock. Just to bring you back up to speed on the rest of the warnings. Severe thunderstorm warning. These will be for potentially strong damaging winds. That's going to be northern Madison County. The storm is now from Boonesboro through Whitehall to just on the north side of Richmond, back to Kirksville, then works its way through Garrett County, Lancaster, back Boyle County, Danville getting in on the heavy rain, Harrodsburg getting heavy rain. So that's a severe thunderstorm warning there until, that's going to be until severe thunderstorm warning until 6 o'clock as well. So all the warnings we have in place are until 6 o'clock. Casey County has now been added into a new batch of warnings until 6 o'clock. Northern part of Adair County, that'll be until 5 o'clock. Lincoln County, severe thunderstorm warning until 6 o'clock as well. So essentially you now have a solid line of severe thunderstorm warnings from the Kentucky River, the Clark-Madison County line. Those extend all the way back to the I-65 corridor with solid line of severe thunderstorm warnings. On the northern flank is where we see the tornado warning that's in place. And again, it's a storm that is Montgomery County. Severe tornado warning is for Montgomery County until 6 o'clock. The storm itself, heavy rain around Judy. So you are stuck in that core of heavy rain. Lightning production has come down a little bit with this as well. If this storm is doing anything, it's going to be close to side view at this point. So again, keep in mind you have your tornado warning until 6 o'clock down towards Mount Sterling. Again, we're just a few miles away from Mount Sterling with wherever this cell may happen to be. So again, you got side view, so you're about 7 miles out going up Highway 460, and it's essentially paralleling 460 at this point. Mount Sterling, you've got heavy rain on the north side. You may have a little bit of small hail with that as well, and then that again goes into that storm there around side view. Again, remember, even just 5 minutes ago, how the storm has changed appearance because, again, it's going through cycling phases, and those cycling phases help with the storm definition. Let me bring this back out so you just get a broader view. I'm going to check again. The computer's over there. I'm over here. And so with all that, so you can see the storm there. It's past North Middletown. Bourbon County, you guys are done. You guys are safe. Storm is over. Montgomery County, the storm is now in with you. NWS employee reports funnel cloud in Montgomery County. This is looking, I'm looking at the picture of it right now on this, and there is certainly something there. Weather Service again saying side view is where the storm is at this point. And again, we're watching the storms coming out of Madison County. So again, that storm near side view to the west or to the left of Judy is where this storm may still have a circulation to it. So again, there is a report of a funnel cloud that's going to be in the northwestern corner there of Montgomery County, and that is going to be, again, about 7 miles northwest of Mount Sterling in Montgomery County. So you folks in Mount Sterling, you guys need to be in your shelters now. For you folks in Camargo, you need to be in your shelters now. Jeffersonville, same idea. Be in your shelters. And the storm continues to progress to the south and southeast. So again, you can see it's beginning to try and loop back in again. So we're literally are watching the phases of this storm. So the tornado warning until 6 o'clock for Montgomery County. At its current rate, it's going to be arriving in Mount Sterling or close to Mount Sterling about 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less. So that's where you're looking at. And then that warning does extend into Bath County, as well as Menifee until 6 o'clock, and that does include Frenchburg as well. That is your tornado warning. So we've given you all the ways to try and be safe with all this, and it never hurts to remind you where you need to be. And with it, we again talk about the sea duct. And the sea duct, with that, you close the interior doors. What you want to do is compartmentalize your house. Think of it like a submarine. They have the doors that they close on the submarines to keep the water contained. Well, you do the same thing with the air that rushes in from a tornado. And there were studies done that that's what leads to the destruction of houses. When the wind gets inside, it can lift the roof up, and when that happens, basically the rest of the house collapses. So if you can basically compartmentalize your house, you increase the chances of it surviving if a tornado hits. You want to be downstairs, lowest level you can get to, basement if you got it, ground floor if you don't. Under something big, heavy, and sturdy, something that can protect you from flying debris. You look around your house, you know what these things are. If you can get under a staircase, terrific. Staircases are very strong and they can support debris that falls on them and protect you underneath. And it's even better if it's in the middle part of the house going down to the basement. Center part of the house, use the walls of the house as layers of protection and keep away from windows and doors. Keep a bike helmet by there if you can as well. So again, with the tornado warning, and the cell itself looks like it is trying to get its act together again. So again, we're going through cycling processes here. So you see Mount Sterling, again, we're looking up towards side view. And again, you know, remember just a minute ago, it was just kind of an amorphous blob. Well, now again, it's beginning to try, you see, it's trying to pull air back into it again. And so this is one of the cycles that it's going through. As you're looking there near Highway 460, just past North Middletown. So again, we'll pull all the way in there, side view right there. So again, you've got the highway, and the cell itself looks like it's just past side view. It's getting awfully close to Judy. So again, be ready with that. You've got Grassy Look down here to the south. Ewington, where it's been raining hard for a while. Mount Sterling. Mount Sterling right now, if you're on the southwest side, you're out there along the bypass on the southwest side, you're looking toward the northeast. You can see that horrible storm up toward the north side of town. And if you look back to the northwest, you can see the storm beginning to approach. But right now, southwest side of Mount Sterling, not much is going on. I know we've got some folks who've got family in Camargo. So again, they are well within the tornado warning. So those folks need to be in shelter back toward Jeffersonville as well as you get into the southern part of Montgomery County. But again, the storm itself is just now, it looks like, to the east of Sideview. And for folks there around Judy, again, torrential rain ongoing. And the bottom line is, this is still a tornado warning. There you can see it for Montgomery County. Excuse me. Until 6 o'clock. So let's see if it's showing up on the velocity displays again. So we'll pull this out of Jackson. Not much there. There it is. And so storm relative, what it does is it basically takes the whole storm motion into account. This is just base velocity. So this is literally the radar looking at the storm, not doing any math on it. So it does clearly show a circulation point that's going to be near Judy in Montgomery County. So what you're looking at here, that's going toward the radar, that's going away from the radar. That is your counterclockwise rotation that you see there. That's how the radar sees it. It doesn't see literally, hey, look, this is a tornado that we see. It doesn't see that. It sees motion toward or away from the radar, and the intensity of it is how you determine whether or not it's something going on. And when you see these literally right next to each other, not separated at all, when they're right next to each other, that tells you that there is a tighter circulation ongoing with that. So again, we're now just to the east of Sideview, just to the south of Judy. Ewington, right in there. Mount Sterling, again, you're getting terribly close to Mount Sterling. At least our shear indicator is that it's a weak rotation. But even off this particular radar display, same idea. You're still seeing that little bit of a hooking. So we come back to the max track. Well, real quick, is there anything? What this is looking for is different sized objects that have been lifted up, looking for a tornado debris. And with it, not yet. You start getting into the blues in that area is where you would see if there had a tornado debris. It does not right now. But again, just one of the tools that we have, the radar see, okay, is this a little tiny raindrop? Is this something bigger? So it's looking for differences in the size of objects within the radar beam. So again, another tool to use. The Jackson or the London Somerset tornado had a big time debris ball going along with it. But look what's happened here in the last couple of minutes. We've gone through a cycle again. So for you folks near Judy, we're seeing again that storm is trying to hook back in. So you've got air that's flowing into this being rotated in counterclockwise. And so the tornado warning is continuing. Again, you've got Mount Sterling down here. Track right now maybe just north of Mount Sterling, but boy, it is close. And we'll continue to see if that trend continues or if it goes through another cycling phase. So again, this is not the same caliber of storm that went through Somerset and London. This is a lower end event, but still, even a low end tornado is a dangerous thing. And with that, you can see again how many folks are not being impacted in Montgomery County. Right now, anything west of Mount Sterling, you're getting pretty much into the clear at this point. But again, near Judy is where you're seeing that tornado possible. This warning again until 6 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm warnings, Madison County, Garrett County, Boyle, Lincoln. They now extend east into Rockcastle, Jackson, Lee County, Estill County included in that, Powell, Wolfe County. So that's a broad brush on the severe thunderstorm warning. Interesting. So seeing how, okay, see right in there? You're seeing another notch coming. So you've got a wind, a jet impinging on the back edge of this. This part here between Richmond and Berea, that's going to be near the depot. That's going to begin to bulge out. In fact, it already is. So you're going to see the greatest chance for some wind damage there. That's going to be probably close to the Buc-ee's at this point. So again, if you folks there, again, hopefully you're waiting for the storm to pass and not trying to drive through it. You get down into Casey and Lincoln counties, you've got severe storms there. And again, bulging going on, same idea there. So strong winds between Campbellsville and Liberty, coming Taylor on into Casey County. Meanwhile, we continue to see there's the severe thunderstorm warning for southern Jessamine County. But again, the tornado warning is what we want to focus on. So that storm, again, all by its lonesome. You can see that there's a gap between that cell. You see, look there past Moorhead. And then you look down the other side, you don't run into heavier echoes again until you get, well, somewhere between Stanton and Richmond, so they're in the northern part of Estill County. It's in this area where shear is available for this storm to use, and that is why the tornado warning has been issued. So again, we're looking at a cell that's, we've been mentioning Judy a lot here. And that is why we got the tornado warning that's in place. Let's turn that off. And so in Ewington, you guys need to be ready. You guys need to be in shelter. Judy, you guys are in shelter at this point. Stoops, you guys need to be in shelter. So it looks like there's been almost a little bit of a left turn on this cell as it's been coming to the south and southeast. So Ewington, you guys are not out of the woods by any stretch. Howard's Mill, Stepstone, be prepared. The storm again is somewhere near you. You can see again, there's Mount Sterling. So the storm is now almost north of Mount Sterling. So it's taken, again, a little bit of a left turn with time. So we'll see if that trend continues as well. New sweeps coming through. And again, you're seeing, again, trying to rotate in between Stoops and Judy. The storm will continue to be potentially tornadic here for a while. Oh, golly. There we are. Let's see if our shear is showing up anything else again. So again, we've got a couple of different tools that we use here to try and keep you updated. Again, storm relative not showing much. Base, remember last scan? Okay, so what's going on here? Last scan, we were talking about how things were basically right next to each other. Looks like the telestrator's not going to work anymore. But you can see how things are separated here. A little more separation, not as intense. So again, we're going through a cycling phase. You can't time these things out though. So you got to treat it like it's one continuous cell. And as long as that's in play, the tornado warning will remain in play. Check the shear rate real quick. They're not showing up. Okay, so let's go back to that. And again, so you see everything's pulling north of Mount Sterling. So we've got a new, these are called skits that show up here, these lines. For a storm moving 39, 40 miles an hour east-southeast, so a little bit, again, we've moved off that southeast track. That particular part of the cell, and again, I think that's away from where the circulation is, just went away. But that is taking it on a little more northerly track than what it had been. Mount Sterling, do not let your guard down yet. Again, the storm is close, but again, it's beginning to pass where your longitude would be here. And if that's the case, eventually, once it slides to your east, then you'll be out of the storm's path. But again, until that happens, remain in shelter. Same idea down around Camargo as well in Jeffersonville. But again, the storm's had a little bit of a left turn to it. And so again, you see in relation to some of the communities here, so this storm is again continuing to cycle. And since the computer again is over here, have to go over here to check things. And with that in mind, well, Montgomery County Emergency Management reports rotation above the city of Mount Sterling, which is not completely matching up with the radar data. It may be more on the northeast side of Mount Sterling. And again, the tornado, or excuse me, the severe thunderstorm warning that's been extended to the south of there, we are looking at a considerable tag being put on that. So you can see those 70-mile-an-hour gusts as a potential from that. Again, I'm just trying to gather some data, so that's why every now and then you get silence, because trying to talk and read doesn't always work. Barron, okay, that's south. Okay. So here's where we are. We're showing the cell north of Mount Sterling. Again, it's had a little bit of a left turn to it. The storm looks to be trying to flatten out, with the only rotation being on that southern flank. But again, the warning is going to be in effect for another 14 minutes at least. And if they're getting reports from the ground of rotation, I would suspect that even as we get to the expiration of this warning at 6 o'clock, that will be extended. But again, that's going to be up to the Weather Service. But again, we're talking about, you see the gap in between, so the storm is in its own environment. Okay, so we've been focusing on that. But again, let's talk about the cell that is down coming out of Madison County. So this has a considerable tag put on it. And that, for the severe thunderstorm warning, that's for Estill, for Powell, that also down toward Jackson County. So we'll just take the first 3 counties there, and Lee until 6:15. So this cell that's coming out of the depot, so right there around Kingston, see how it goes quickly from the greens, barely any yellow, and then the red. So that really sharp definition right in there. That's where the jet is impinging on the back edge of it like that. So that wind gets translated down to the ground, and so that's where you can get that damage potential from Berea to Kingston at this point. And so again, that's where you could see a hurricane force wind gust potentially. By the way, Lexington, done. The storms are done as we've approached the 6 o'clock hour here. So we're just watching this one line. Let's go ahead and show you the whole thing. So this is how the afternoon and evening are shaping up. At this point, you've got a continuous line of warnings that are running from Mount Sterling and West Liberty to Somerset, and then back toward Campbellsville. So you're developing a big cold pool here that's going to continue pushing this southward. What you're also going to see is very heavy rain. What is likely going to happen is this part of the line is going to slow down some and basically take on a little bit more of a north-south orientation, and the southern flank will continue to accelerate southward, eventually toward Tennessee. But again, severe thunderstorm warnings will be a part of that for most of its trek. So, okay, there's your big picture. You see the communities. If you're north of 64 and west of 75, you're done. If you're around 64 in Montgomery County, you still have the tornado warning. If you're south of 64, south of the Mountain Parkway, you have severe thunderstorm warning. South of the Bluegrass Parkway, south of Highway 52 might be a better definition there. You have severe thunderstorm warnings for wind damage potential from this. So let's take you back now into Montgomery County. So again, the storm, we're looking at it to be just a little bit north of Mount Sterling, passing by on the northeast side. Now, somebody in Mount Sterling could be looking to the northeast and seeing that rotation, and that's likely where it's going to be right now, somewhere around Ewington maybe. So what can also happen is, we had been watching this area up around Judy. The storm itself, as it continues to cycle, it may be getting a secondary circulation there around Ewington. So what we can do real quick, we have the skid on here, and just give you quick times on this. So again, Olympia 6:05, Olympia Springs 6:08, Salt Lake 6:12, Frenchburg 6:17 for that cell, as it's in the northern part there of Montgomery County. You know, Camargo, I don't want to say you guys are in the clear yet, so still be in that shelter. Judy, you guys are point. We've talked about you a lot. You probably had some circulation go nearby. You may or may not have touched down at this point, but at this point the storm has passed you. So certainly good news with that. As we look to the Jackson radar, first thing is shear rate. Again, we're not showing a whole lot there. So again, this is proprietary stuff that we have. Storm relative doesn't have anything. And again, on the base velocity, remember even from, okay, a few minutes ago, we had stuff that was at least kind of close together. Now things are separating even more. And so that tells you that things are broadening out. And as they are broadening out, you tend to lose strength with that. Think of it this way, and this is how I explain it to the kids with Weather 101. Think of an ice skater. So when you watch the ice skaters in the Olympics or whatever, when they want to go fast, they make themselves really small. They tighten up. They do their hands at their sides or across their chest. That's what gets them going really fast. When they want to slow down, they extend their arms out. Same thing happens here. So when things are expanding out, you slow down the overall rotation. When this tightens back up again, you are conserving angular momentum and bringing everything back in, and that's where your rotations can get to be fast. So again, something that we are watching very carefully here to see if that tries to tighten back up again. Right now there is a little bit of separation, so this tells me that it's a broad circulation that we are seeing. And that being said, this can quickly spin back up again. And so that's why we tell you to remain in your shelters until the warning itself has been allowed to expire or been canceled. At that point, at this point, we're not seeing any reason why that's going to happen, but especially when you see something beginning to do something again, where the storm is going through a cycle. And so now we look, you see Stepstone here, Howard's Mill, Ewington, and the storm itself is trying again to get a circulation to it. So again, it's one of the cycles it's been going through, but that's the area that we're watching right now. Howard's Mill, Stepstone. This may take it on a path actually getting closer to Preston with time. Right now in Preston, it's raining really hard. For Mount Sterling, okay, looks like Mount Sterling, you guys, let me just confirm real quick, just take you on an older radar display to make sure everything is good. Yeah, we are. So with all that, we'll bring you back on the max track. And that is telling you, okay, Mount Sterling, you guys are done. You guys are okay. The storm has passed by to your north. And again, it took that little bit of a left turn. But the storm itself is getting now closer to the Bath County line. So you've got Olympia right there. You are talking about that cell trying to get into Bath County. In fact, it's getting much closer to the Bath County line right there at Stepstone. Howard's Mill, Lower Spencer, passing north of Lower Spencer at this point. So again, this has taken that little more of a left turn. It's almost a east-southeast or an easterly direction. Bath County, you've got the tornado warning now until 6 o'clock. So again, if you are there near Howard's Mill, near Stepstone, Preston, be aware that the storm is getting very, very close to you and you need to be in shelter. You've got Olympia and Olympia Springs out there to the east. So that's where we're looking at this storm going next. So there again is your big picture. And the storm passing north of Camargo, passing north of Jeffersonville. So again, as it goes south on 460 there, you guys look like you're going to be in the clear, at least from this cell at this point. Mount Sterling certainly is in the clear. You can see they pulled the warning now, Mount Sterling to Judy. But again, Mount Sterling and Judy, you guys are finished. The storm is done. It's passed you by. But for the storm that looks like it's trying to re-crank again, this is south of Owingsville. So Owingsville is not included in this tornado warning. If you're sitting there in Bath County and Owingsville thinking, why didn't I get that alert on my phone? It's because you are not included in the polygon, which you see flashing right there. But the folks that are, again, this is very close to Stepstone, very close to Howard's Mill, and coming up on 554. So again, I would fully suspect this is going to get extended as we approach the 6 o'clock hour and the expiration of this particular tornado warning. Sorry about that. We get you up here. Every once in a while, it starts getting a little ootsy when we've been on here for 40, 45 minutes. So again, that's why you get the little jumps once in a while. With all that said, you see Stepstone again. You guys are the ones needing to be in shelter. Just saw a new severe thunderstorm warning come up. So, okay, you see that? Okay, well, let's expand that out. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this. Again, okay, so when I say interim with they being the National Weather Service office in Jackson, they're the ones who issue the warnings. We do not issue warnings. We relay the warnings to you. We can sometimes say if we happen to see something on the MAX track that maybe they don't see on their radars, which are in Jackson and in Louisville, that we may say, okay, you folks wherever need to take shelter. But we do not issue the warnings. So with all that said, you are looking again, tornado warning for Bath and northern Montgomery County until 6 o'clock. The new severe thunderstorm warning now extends east on this storm. That includes Rowan County until 6:30. It'll include Menifee County until 6:30, north of Frenchburg, and Bath County also will be included in that severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30. Without reading it yet, I would suspect that has the tornado possible language on it. And so that makes it an easy opportunity for that to be upgraded from a severe thunderstorm to a tornado warning. Right now, the actual tornado warning continues for Montgomery and for Bath counties until 6 o'clock. But again, this could very easily be now extended into that new severe thunderstorm warning as the cell continues moving. It's going to be passing south of Owingsville. Now, in Owingsville, what you're going to see, it's going to rain really hard. You're going to see the dark skies to your south. You may eventually get into some small hail, but maybe just to your south as well, maybe along more I-64. But again, for the Owingsville itself, you will likely stay out of this tornado's path. But Olympia, you are in the path of this rotation. So you guys need to be prepared. Olympia Springs, same idea. You are in the path of this potential rotation that's still on there. But again, you see Jeffersonville there. So again, Jeffersonville, don't worry about it. The tornado is not going to come your way, or the potentially tornadic part of the storm going your way. So there, we're looking at that until 6 o'clock. So with all that, again, that's our Max Live. And again, it's an okay signature. It's not definitive. But again, the closest radar now is getting to be Jackson. And again, same idea. See how broad this is becoming here? There's still some good speeds in there, but again, it's a broader rotation, and so it's not tightening up. That said, it can tighten back up again in just a couple of minutes, and with that, you are looking at why the warning is still holding on. We'll see, we've got 3 minutes to go here. Let's see if it gets extended out. But again, your tornado warning, I'm going to check the shear just real quick while we're here. Again, same idea. It's not particularly strong at this point, and the Weather Service's radar, again, not showing a huge circulation on this. That, again, how many times have we talked over the last 45 minutes, this thing going through cycles? And all it takes is a couple of minutes where you see a little hook developing like that, and that is where you can indeed run into the problems. So again, we're 2 minutes out. While you're looking at that, I'm going to check the data again real quick and see if we can garner what they're thinking, and hopefully they will let this go to a severe TOR possible. If that happens, then we get your regular newscast going right in here. And this from the National Weather Service in Jackson, and this is exactly what we were saying. The tornado warning for Montgomery County to expire. Rotation has broadened and replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible tag. So what we were talking about here is also what they're thinking. So Megan and Larry, get ready as we approach LEX 18 News at 6. We're at 5:59 here, so again, that tornado warning should be expiring here in just a minute or so. What I want you all to do, if you're in Stepstone, in Preston, in Olympia Springs, be vigilant, be prepared. You know, if you happen to want to stay in your shelter, there is absolutely nothing wrong with doing that until this storm passes. You are, in fact, that is the smart and prudent thing to do, even if the warning is allowed to expire at 6. Again, you've got a severe thunderstorm warning that now extends out through Bath County, Rowan County, Cave Run, northern Menifee County, with the tornado possible tag on it. That tornado possible tag means this could quickly turn back into a tornadic storm. But again, a shelter is still a real good idea for you folks in Olympia and Olympia Springs. Owingsville, the storm is going to pass south of you, and then eventually this is going to stay south of I-64, but it is on a path toward Cave Run. 6 o'clock, tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So what we'll do is, as they are getting set for LEX 18 News at 6, give you the quick reset here. And never mind. Everything I was just saying, forget about that. We have a news tornado warning. So with that, we're going to take you down to the south here. And this has just come out. So you're looking at a new tornado warning. This is going to include Pulaski County. This is going to include Casey County. And so this is a brand new tornado warning. Casey County until 6:30. Pulaski County until 6:30. This is going to be just north of Somerset. So again, these are brand new tornado warnings that have come out for you. Tornado warning until 6:30 for the northern half of Pulaski County. Technically, it's catching a small part of Rockcastle County, and then also Casey County until 6:30. The storm does not include Liberty at this point. So let's get a look at this with our various tools that we have available to us. The shear is not showing up as much. Storm relative looks to be broad. Base velocity, not anything there at all. So again, you're looking at that storm near Argyle and Eubank. So Jackson doesn't see much. Louisville, shear, a little more there from Argyle north in Casey County. Storm relative, a little bit more of a circulation near Walltown and Yosemite, and then we're looking at so storm relatives where those up between Yosemite and Walltown. So a storm that's moving to the southeast. So this is again the brand new tornado warning that has come out for folks there in Casey County as well as in northern Pulaski County. So we'll leave the words up there for you real quick as we go and see exactly what was being said about said storm. So again, with the folks there in Pulaski County, again, north of Somerset, this does not include Lake Cumberland. Bookends, oh golly, not anything showing up there. Taylor, they had some damage in Taylor County. Flash flood warning now for Boyle, Garrett, and Mercer counties from the heavy rain that has come through. Not seeing why. Okay, so the Casey, Lincoln County tornado warning. That anything on it? Not. Yeah, just a radar indicated, and that's going to be until 6:30. So getting you up to speed here. Alrighty, so tornado warning there for Pulaski County and for Casey County. Severe thunderstorm warnings surround that. So there was a little circulation that was picked up, and let's put another tornado warning on here. This one also just coming out. So that's for the surge that you see right in there. So now we have multiple tornado warnings in place. And so you are now east of Richmond. You're going into Estill County, into Lee County, northern Owsley, and extreme northern Jackson County. That northern Jackson County is going to be tornado warning. That's going to be also until 6:30. So the northern storm has been allowed to expire. We have these two on the southern flank now where tornado warnings have been issued, separated from what were these severe thunderstorm warnings. So again, we've been looking at these quick circulations spinning up. And any one of these can quickly produce a tornado. Of the two right now, again, you take both of them exceptionally seriously. The one that may have the best look to it right now is where you see this surge going in south. So that's going to be southern part of Estill County, just north of Jackson County there. Are we seeing anything? So yeah, you're seeing a circulation right in there. That's going to be between or just south of Irvin, where you're seeing that circulation. See how, again, it's tighter. Things are closer together than what we were showing you just a few minutes ago on the northern storm. So that one, you're seeing at least a circulation there near Irvin. You guys need to be in shelter. Plain and simple. That is going then through most of Estill County, Witt, Nolan, Jinx, over to Allenbaugh, Old Landing, Crystal, all in shelter. Irvin in shelter. Ravenna in shelter right now. Again, that's for the tornado warning. That's in Estill County until 6:30. Lee County, same idea, 6:30 for your tornado warning. So again, there's one storm. We come back to the southern storm. And with it, again, you've got some circulations showing up fairly broad on these. We're on Louisville on that one. Sheer, a little bit more from Walltown south. So this is still just to the west of Eubank. So it's getting past now Yosemite as well as Argyle. And a quick check on the radar. There you see it. So again, there's not any of the hooking that we were seeing earlier. Certainly heavy rain around Kings Mountain ongoing at this point over toward Walltown. Eubank, you're getting on the heavy rain now at this point as well. That's headed eventually toward Science Hill and over toward Woodstock in northern parts of Pulaski County. Again, not showing anything tremendously standing out on this. But again, the warning is there nonetheless. So again, tornado warning Pulaski until 6:30 and Casey County until 6:30 for a storm that is sliding eastward and into northern Pulaski County. This does not include Somerset at this point. Not that. So again, there's a circulation that we're seeing with it. So we'll expand it out. Should give you both storms at once here. So one near Irvin, one east of Liberty that's headed into Pulaski County. So these are also moving into the higher terrain at this point with these storms. So Estill County, again, 6:30 on your tornado warning. Again, there's at least some degree of rotation showing up there near Irvin, near Witt, as we get you into Estill County. Again, that's probably the strongest circulation of the bunch at this point. Jackson should be getting a really good look at that. And so what do we see? Same area, right around Witt and right around Irvin, back to the velocity display. So it's going to be storm relatives where this is going to show up now. So again, basically over Witt at this point is where picking tornado warning. So again, that'll be headed toward Beattyville, going up Highway 52 toward folks there in Lee County, probably passing just north of Heidelberg. So that is your tornado warning for that particular cell. Is Jackson radar picking up anything more on that Eubank one? So we'll just kind of ping pong back and forth here. Doesn't show much. It's showing a broad circulation there, and again the shear rate not showing up much of anything at all. That may be just a little far out from the Jackson radar. What we do see is a surging of the returning. So you see that it's now approaching Science Hill. It's just passing by Eubank. So within that, you're going to see very strong winds certainly show up. And again, you might get a little bit of a spin up right in there. But again, we're not showing anything particularly strong with that. But that being said, you have your tornado warning in place. So again, bring you back into the last. So again, near Eubank at this point, you folks are the ones needing to be in shelter. Same thing around Science Hill. So if you guys are just now joining us, we've been in tornado warning coverage now since about 10 after 5. And so now we're approaching 10 after 6. And numerous severe thunderstorm warnings that run from I-64 all the way back down to almost Lake Cumberland at this point. You've got 2 tornado warnings that are in place. So these are for spin-up potentials with these particular cells. But again, there's so much shear available. That's, again, unusual for a July event to see something like this. But it's happening nonetheless. So you've got the damaging wind potential, not only damaging wind, but normally for a severe thunderstorm, 57 miles per hour is what's considered to be that severe weather threshold. The potential is there for some of these cells to be pushing hurricane force winds. And so that is one of the things that we're also taking into account as these cells continue pressing through the area. If you've been outside at all today, you knew that the day was not normal. That it just didn't feel right. The air was so heavy with moisture that was the fuel to make these storms go. And once they got to central Kentucky, they really have gone gangbusters. It's coming out of Owen County and Owen County earlier. So again, there is your overall setup of the tornado warnings for Estill County, Lee County, and northern Owsley County. Tornado warnings also for northern Pulaski. And that does not include Somerset, and also for the eastern part of Casey County. All right, So we've got our max track on here. Let's go ahead and pull you in and show you the communities again who are going to be the greatest impacted with this. And again, these storms are now beginning to assault the higher terrain coming out of the bluegrass, headed into the hills of eastern Kentucky. So we'll see also how the circulation is able to maintain itself. But the leading edge of this now is getting toward Allenbaugh, right around Crystal. Where are we seeing anything with this? Jackson radar, again, was the best view of this storm. It's not all that far away. And so with that, it's again a fairly broad circulation between, it's now passing just to the east of Witt, getting past Nolan. So again, it was a broader circulation. So again, we're looking for things that are right next to each other, the reds and the greens, and that's right now really not showing up particularly well on the storm relative or the base velocity. And so I would assume the shear rate, it's in the weak category still. But that being said, these things, how many times have we said over the last hour? They go through cycles. And so this one may be going through a downtrend at this point. You've got that cell down there. You've got the one down here, again, not showing a whole lot here. Again, there's just broad circulations showing up on both of these. This one's pretty close to Eubank. Estisburg would be included in that. This is going to be a little north of Science Hill at this point, but again, headed off to the southeast is where we're seeing that. And again, there's, you look out there towards Science Hill and Estisburg, you've certainly got very, very strong winds. Whether or not there's rotation there, it's hard to pick out at this point. But you have your tornado warnings nonetheless. I would suspect this is pretty much out of Casey County at this point. I don't see anything holding back here to the west. So again, we've pretty much crossed out of Casey and Lincoln counties. So again, it was also the very southern part there, Lincoln County. I think this is primarily now getting into Pulaski, but we'll wait for that warning to be discontinued. So again, Lincoln County, Casey County, 6:30, Pulaski County also until 6:30. And again, you look down towards Somerset and you see how the polygon, it includes Science Hill but does not include Somerset, although once you get just out of town to the northeast and headed up Highway 80 there, you're going to see that up toward Barnesburg and Shopville with that particular cell. Let's go ahead and put radar back on here, and we're going to show you the big picture. Pull that off. Thank you. So again, here's your big picture. If you are north of I-64, you're fine now for the rest of the evening. If the severe thunderstorm watch hasn't already been discontinued, it will be shortly. So again, this whole big broad area still may get some rain later on. You see there's a few cells redeveloping north of 71, but this is going to pull the energy out of the system. And so as it continues pressing southward, you're going to see these warnings continue. A broad coverage of severe thunderstorm warnings that run all the way from Somerset with the severe thunderstorm warning, so that does include part of Lake Cumberland. From Somerset through Lincoln County, Pulaski County, Rockcastle County, Madison County. You get over into Jackson County, Lee County with a tornado warning also into Estill County. Owsley County included with that. Wolfe County, Powell County, severe thunderstorm warnings. The cell that was tornado warned earlier is now south of I-64 coming in on Cave Run, and it's passed by Olympia at this point. That's headed toward Bangor. But again, Cave Run will be seeing this shortly. This cell likely will pass just south of Moorhead. But that gives you set up where we are right now, an extensive line of severe thunderstorms. The cells that are, again, they've passed by Irvin. So you can see how things are flattening out here. Evelyn to Crystal as you're getting to the Lee County line. You see Old Landing there, so you're getting near into the Kentucky River. I was trying to get Heidelberg to show up. Should be right in there somewhere. Heidelberg's right there. So again, you're seeing it. And so the storms are still a little bit to the west of Heidelberg, west of Beattyville, but they are coming eastward. So on that particular cell with the tornado warning in place, you're seeing some of the communities, Texola at 615, Evelyn 618, Pinnacle 621, Mount Olive 629, White Ash 632, Congleton 634. The BTI, the tornado index number, has come down. There is some shear showing up. And try saying that after talking for the last hour and 15 minutes. But overall, the echo top has come down some as well. So we'll see how this thing is doing. One thing we haven't looked at, how's the lightning production? So it's maybe not getting much Not seeing it. It didn't show up for me, so. Well, there's, okay, there we oh, they're all back to this. So lightning is working, it's just not in these storms. Seeing it a little bit. Okay, there we are. Now it shows up. So always interesting to see, because that it doesn't tell you whether or not a storm is severe, but it does tell you whether a storm is increasing or decreasing. So what we have seen now, the tornado warning has been pulled from Casey County and Lincoln County. So the tornado warning for Pulaski County, though, will continue until 6:30. So that, again, you see some of the lightning strikes in here. Pull that. We'll just put all kinds of numbers on here for you. So again, this storm coming north of Somerset, it probably is going to end up north of Science Hill as well. So again, just trying to find circulation on this cell. Not showing up in the base velocity. There is at least some degree, it's broad though. When you look here in Pulaski into Lincoln County. So again, you've at least got the reds and greens now coincidentally together, but still it's trying to tighten up. So this again is going to be just to the east of Eubank, north of, right about Etna, may end up heading toward Bee Lick here at some point. And that is again showing us, again, there's at least some rotation going on there. So the storm will continue. Shear rates have increased. You can see it even trying to bow out. So you get that little bit of an S shape right in here. That is again telling you, okay, the storm's trying to get its act together again. You folks in Etna, you folks in Science Hill, Elrod, be prepared to go to your shelters now. In fact, you are in shelters now. Albia, same idea for this tornado warning that's in Pulaski County. That's moving in toward, again, toward Etna. Or again, your display up toward Albia. We're going to see if that tightens up over the next 3 or 4 minutes. So that cell is in place. As we bring the whole circulation back up for you once again, let's take you back down into Estill County for that storm that's approaching into Lee County at this point. And it works better if you hit the right button. I don't think I still hit the right button yet. There we are. Eventually we get there. So, and there's tornado warnings now out that are clipping the southern part of Adair County. We'll get to that in just a second. So again, the storm coming into Pulaski. There's going to be into Estill County, into Lee County. There you go, 6:30. So the cell itself, you can see that push right in there. You've got a wedging in. So that's going to be your jet stream, your rear flanking downdraft coming in right like that. So we're going to try and watch and see if a circulation, a little hooking tries to take place. See how that just pushed out again? So you've got straight line winds approaching Crestmont and Beattyville. That was actually really interesting to see. So that's right over Willow at this point. So again, that's your rear flanking downdraft coming in like that. So you see, we're going to see a little rotation try and hook in there, Willow to Old Landing. So that's what we're seeing on the max track. Let's see what we see. Not much showing up on the storm relative, velocity, shear rates. So yeah, that's a puzzlement because it's looking just doing straight radar analysis. There's definitely something going on right in there by Willow. So again, that's at least strong winds, strong straight line winds. Willow, and that's going to be approaching Beattyville here shortly. But regardless, you've got the tornado warning for Lee County and extreme eastern parts of Estill County until 6:30. This is also clipping the northern part of Owsley County until 6:30. Since you may not have been with us this whole time, we can go ahead and talk about how we stay safe. And this is when I do the Weather 101s, and I've been Beattyville for so many years. We talk about this every Weather 101 with the kids. What do you do to be safe? Where do you find your safe spot in the house? And that is as simple as closing the interior doors. You want to compartmentalize your house. You want to get downstairs. When we say compartmentalize, let's close the bathroom doors, bedroom doors, closet doors. You make your house into a bunch of little tiny rooms. And if, heaven forbid, a tornado hits, it may take out one of those small exterior rooms, but it doesn't get through the whole house. That's the theory in trying to protect the entire structure. So if you have time to do that, you do that. The other thing you do, you get downstairs. You want to be at the lowest level you can. Your house has a basement, that's where you go. If you don't have a basement, you want to be just on the ground floor. You do not want to be in a mobile home or a manufactured house. Hopefully you found shelter someplace else. That's one thing we also always advise. They're just not safe even in the weakest of tornadic conditions. You want to be getting yourself under something big, heavy, and sturdy. Big, heavy table, couch, a bed. Get inside a bathtub. Get under a staircase. safe places to be, something that can protect you from flying debris. You want to be in the center part of your house. Use the walls of your house as layers of protection. The more in the middle you can get, the better your chances are. And you keep away from windows and doors. You keep away from flying glass potential. And if you can't, keep a bike helmet nearby. That actually helps protect your head. And the other thing I tell the kids, and we have some fun with it at this point, is don't panic. If you've thought about things beforehand, you know what to do and where to go. And when the situation does arise, you don't panic and you're able to get to your safe spots quickly. With that, you've got your tornado warning now in Lee County there in Beattyville till 6:30. The storm itself is pretty much out of Estill County at this point. You are looking at that cell maybe getting into Boonville here at some point. Let's go ahead and zoom this in just a little bit more. There's my zooming. We're going to get back to the Pulaski County storm in just a second. So again, Heidelberg, this is still just west of Beattyville. This to me looks more like a straight line threat, but that being said, we still have a tornado warning in place for Lee County, so you do not leave your shelter. You stay in place until the warning is allowed to expire. Again, storm relative and the velocities aren't showing much. And the shear rate, again, for a storm area in Lee County is not showing a whole lot. That said, the tornado warning does continue, and I would suspect at this point, you folks are around Heidelberg, and again, you can see how the impinging is going. They're right through Willow. So you've got really strong winds at this point going through Willow, getting into Heidelberg. It'll be in Beattyville in the next couple of minutes. So that's the northern storm. We'll expand this back out and show you the southern storm again. This one was trying to get its act together a little bit more. In fact, on the broad picture, you can see it from here. North of Somerset, you can see that bulging out taking place. And so strong winds are certainly part of this storm as it's now in Pulaski County. So again, you're seeing that bulging out going on right there. That's now passing Science Hill. It's past Etna. Etna, I think you've got probably some really strong winds and heavy rain ongoing. Sugar Hill, you're getting in on this. Approaching Bloss and Conrad. Again, this is all north of Somerset, but I think in Somerset, you do have a severe thunderstorm warning regardless in Somerset. So there's your severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45. But the tornadic part, if it is around, is going to pass north, where the warning is going north of Somerset. So again, let's check the tools that we've got here. Staying on the storm relative, you've got basically broad circulation showing up. Base velocities, same idea. You've got some strong winds showing up, but again, there's nothing that would indicate a whole lot of shear going on. And same thing with our shear rate product that we have in here. So again, this storm has been going through cycles like the others. It may still have the ability here to spin something up. And so the tornado warning continues for another 7 minutes. And we'll keep an eye on that area, southern flank here, Grundy, Barnesburg, Coyne, to see if anything develops in that area over the next little bit. Again, that's still north of Somerset at this point. So this next cycle or sweep comes through. Yeah, nothing jumps out. That being said, nothing may jump out. That doesn't mean something is not going on underneath the storm. Somerset, you are about, the radar beam is going to be about 7,000 feet up. So that's where we're picking up all of this data that you're seeing here. With that said, let's put there's no skits on this either. So again, you see that though the extent of the severe thunderstorm warnings, your tornado warnings that are in place. And while you're looking at that little bit right here, I'm going to check just again on the data that comes into the weather office, just to see what we've got going on. And again, keep in mind, as long as you're within those polygons, as long as you have a warning in place, a tornado warning in place for you, you want to be in your shelters. You don't want to take any chances. And it's not that hard to stay in the shelter and just do it for a few more minutes. So out of Jackson, okay, that's all. Rotation, both Estill and Pulaski counties on a downward trend. So new severe warning will be issued for Pulaski County, considerable severe coming in for Lee County. So again, that's those strong winds that we were just talking about in Lee County just a second ago. But again, both of these storms are showing a decline in the circulations. They have not dropped the warnings yet, though. And yeah, there was certainly a funnel cloud with the Clark County or the Bourbon County storm earlier. But beyond that, I'm just looking to see if they're going to drop the warning here early, because if we can, we will get it back over to Megan and Larry. But right now, I think they're going to let this ride until its natural expiration at 6:30. And so as long as those expiration times remain at 6:30, we will be here with you until 6:30, which is another 4 minutes. You guys want to do 4 minutes of news? Yeah. Yeah. So we'll finish this up for you all here. All right. So knowing that these both these circulations have been on the decline, which is what we've kind of been talking about here for the last little bit, let's give you the big picture as we're 4 minutes away from the expiration of these tornado warnings. Now for the Adair County one, this is going to be close to Columbia. So again, this is going to be in Central Time. So for Columbia, and is that going to be on a path that takes it toward Russell? So anyway, tornado warning until 6 Central Time for Adair County. We will not be on wall-to-wall for that storm. If it gets to Russell, we'll see it back here again. The storm in Pulaski County, which again, you have severe thunderstorm warnings. I think they're going to keep the tornado possible language with it until 6:30 for the tornado warning. Again, that system has been trying to spin itself out. But we also have severe thunderstorm warnings that will extend till 6:45 for Laurel and Pulaski County. I think you're throwing Rockcastle County into that 6:45 as well. As we come to the north, you've got severe thunderstorm warnings till 6:45 for Jackson County. That continues. I think Estill County, you're pretty much done with the severe weather. Wolf County until 6:45. Now you've got Lee County until 6:30, a tornado warning, where we're showing you again that storm bowing out here, and it's just gone by Beattyville. So again, you're likely getting really strong winds there in Beattyville, but the overall lightning productions also come way, way down. But that's a Fincastle to Airedale on that leading edge where you're going to see some really strong winds. Congleton included in that as well. So again, 3 more minutes to go, or a little bit less than that, on that particular tornado warning. But again, severe thunderstorm warning will be issued likely off to the east of it. You also have the strong storm. So this one was potentially tornadic when it was back toward Montgomery and Bourbon County. Severe thunderstorm warned for as it's now into Rowan County until 6:30. So again, that's coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Menifee County also included in that until 6:30, and the extreme western part of Morgan County until 6:30. So what I would suspect is going to happen as we approach the 6:30 time frame, assuming that no additional warnings are going to get issued on these. Let's expand, give you the whole big picture here. So with all that, we'll get you set for your evening here. You're in southern Kentucky. You still have strong storms that are going to come through, and these are going to be slow movers at this point. You see how that line's starting to flatten out, and so heavy rain is going to be occurring with these. Flash flood watch is still up for most of the area, although I suspect a lot of this is going to get pulled here. You still have the potential for flooding rains across southern and southeastern Kentucky over the course of the next several hours as this line continues pressing south. We've got the tornado warnings, and hopefully this will be the last of them that will expire here at 6:30. I would suspect severe thunderstorm warnings will continue to be issued for the bulk of this, especially this cluster right in here, from Somerset to London over toward Manchester, eventually Barberville, Monticello, McCreary County there, Williamsburg. I suspect those warnings will continue. Hopefully nothing else becomes more of them than a severe thunderstorm warning. But again, the potential for some very strong winds will be in place there with those as well. If you're up here, central Kentucky, Lexington, Frankfort, Nicholasville, Cynthiana, you still may get a stray storm coming through, but the severe threat has ended. So we've certainly got good news with all of that. So again, heavy rain, southern Kentucky, still a strong potential in southern Kentucky. Parts of eastern Kentucky as well. We may see some of these warnings extending on to the east as we go through time. With that, we are looking at the conclusion of LAX 18 News at 6. The warnings will be discontinued at 6:30. Stay with LAX 18 for the latest information.
Video appears to show a massive funnel cloud in New Jersey, just outside New York City.
All right, it didn't last long, but we have new tornado warnings, or tornado warning that has been issued. This comes from the National Weather Service office in Jackson. So it's now a continuation of the storm that had been previously in southern Kentucky. So with that, you can see the max track going there. We'll zoom in on the tornado warning. Again, this is for folks in southern Kentucky. This is a new tornado warning. Pulaski County until 7:15. You've got Laurel County until 7:15, and the southern of Rockcastle County all until 7:15. So again, this is a new tornado warning that has been issued by the folks at the Weather Service office in Jackson. The storm does not include Somerset. It does get to London on the polygon, not quite to Corbin. I think this warning is, if for another reason, an abundance of caution. The cell itself, as we were talking about, has for the last 15-20 minutes has not shown much, but given the communities that are impacted here, and some names are going to be very familiar if you were watching us back when the London Somerset tornado. These are the same communities that are being impacted by this. So again, these are tornado warnings for Pulaski, southern Rockcastle, as well as for Laurel County. So let's see what we can pick out on this. They're saying it was what's called a bookend vortice. So essentially, you've got things that are, you've got your line going on. Tail end can indeed try and spin up a little something, and it's probably, I would say it's what is down closer to Drum here. Drum and Dykes, where you're seeing some of that down toward Bent. Acorn, although given the proximity of where that warning was issued, you see there's a little bit of an increase there. It's a broader circulation near Whetstone and Bent and towards Stab and Dahl. So you're not getting everything that's co-located again, but things are on a broad circulation here. But again, I think it's the abundance of caution for folks that were hit so hard back a year ago. So there you see the storms that are out there. Shear, our product, it's picking up at least weak shear there and around Acorn. So again, about where we're looking at with all this. But again, right now we're seeing broad circulation on this. Could something spin up quickly? Yep. It's certainly a possibility. It's within a broad area of a severe thunderstorm warning. So again, as we put the radar back, let's put the Weather Service radar on here. At the very least, between Acorn and Drum, you're seeing that arcing right in there. So that's where you've got your jet stream, your rear flanking downdraft coming through in here, your rear flanking jet coming in there right around Acorn. And with that, that's going to try and spin something up there. So it kind of, you can see how that's impinging that south, how that's differently situated, differently angled than what you're looking at there from Bloss over to Billows, where you're seeing heavy rain ongoing. So there is that setup. We come over to the live radar. And same idea. You're seeing, again, the pushing down to the south as the outer winds sweep back in and around and try and loop back in there around Billows. So that's what we're looking at. It's not a classic signature by any stretch of the imagination, but it's also, given the way the day has gone and the location here, one that you want to overwarn rather than underwarn. The best way to put it. This is occurring in broad daylight here, so again, we're lucky that anything can be seen from these storms if there are spotters out in that area. So you've got that storm continuing there near Acorn and Billows. Back to the west, as long as we're here, we're going to go ahead and talk about the storm that's coming into Adair County. So again, this is going to be south of Columbia. Where you've got until 6 o'clock Central Time for a storm that's coming into Adair County. Again, that one has a potential tornado with it as well. So that is your setup with these storms as we are looking here at 6:37. So the big picture again, the garden variety storms up to the north, don't worry about those. We are looking here to the south of Mount Vernon, just east of Somerset. Shopville, you are included in this warning. So again, at least as far as the polygon goes, you are included in this. But you see, again, the same communities that were talked about back May of last year. So they're the storms that are in place. Tornado warning, again, for Pulaski until 7:15. And again, it's not showing up vividly on the radar display. So we use the other tools to try and pick out where it is. So we're going to watch to see if this area between Acorn and Bent tries to tighten up some. That would be the location we would likely see something going on at this point. So that's, again, where you've got winds going different directions that the radar was showing. So there's a new update. So again, right over near Acorn. Again, it's tightening up. It's not there yet, but it's tightening up. So again, you see things getting closer together here. So you've got winds here. That telestrator's not working today. So we'll just get rid of that because that's going to start messing things up. So this is where we're, again, looking at that potential development. So winds are moving south there by Bent, rotating in, and then up around Acorn, and then they come off then toward the north and east. Maybe if I actually used the right telestrator, that would actually work. So again, those winds going like that, those are going up like that, and so that's how you get your rotation. Again, right now, that rotation is broad. As that rotation tries to tighten up, that's where your wind speeds will increase. And so that may be happening now. Again, over the last couple of minutes, that certainly tightened up there around Acorn. So that is the place where we are looking at the greatest potential if this storm has anything going on. So again, the flat line there, that's the winds pushing south. That's angling up toward Billows. And so that's the area where you would see the potential for that circulation taking place. Again, it's not a well-defined system, but again, for folks in Pulaski County, Laurel County, you've got till 7:15 for that tornado warning. It does include East Bernstadt. It does include the areas around Sublimity City. You get over there toward High Top. Again, all of these are included in that tornado warning. It's just about into the Pine Grove area as well. In fact, I think it is in Pine Grove. You see Bernstadt there. East Bernstadt was also included. There you see High Top and Keevee. So again, communities that we talked about so many times a year ago. But again, the storm likely is going to be just north of them, or it's going to be awfully close. So again, you see London here toward Billows and Acorn. So that's where your cell looks to be at this point. Put it on Jackson and get the shear rate. Again, nothing is completely jumping out. That is going to be our best tool at this point to try and figure out if this thing's going to cycle up. Again, we're speaking the truth, and there's not a clear signal on this. It is not what we saw with the storms a year ago. That said, if you still have an EF1, that still does a decent amount of damage. And if you're in the path of it, that can be catastrophic. So take precautions. Be in your safe spot. Even though this is, again, not a classic situation, it's one that can turn tragic if you don't take the proper precautions. So with that, we'll put the Max Track back on here live for you. One more time, because an image just popped in. So again, it's tightening up. It's trying to get its act together. And so the area that we're looking at is going to be here. So you see those winds that are increasing there and there. So again, that's where you get your rotation that's showing up on a radar display. There's your counterclockwise spin. And again, these numbers are beginning to increase. And so for you folks that are in Acorn, Billows, right there at the Pulaski, Laurel County line, Anno's in there, right there, Sandy Gap. This is where this is trying to get its act together and may very well be by this time. So again, this is where you need to be in safe places at this point. So again, the storm is moving off to the east and southeast on a path that's going to take it close to London and Sublimity City, back toward High Top and Keevee. When we're talking about how much wind is in this, let's see if we can actually pluck that out. So on the broad circulation, you've got about 50 mile per hour rotation going on, at least. So, but again, that's also separated. That's not co-located. So that's what you're starting from. If that's able to together, then you start increasing those numbers as well. In terms of safe places to go, and if you've been with us for the last, I don't know, hour and 45 minutes, we've talked about this a couple of times for you. What you do, we'll show you the house schematic here. And what you do is, if you've got a basement, if you can get underground, that's the place to be. If you're in that polygon, you want to be lowest level you can get to. If you don't have a basement, then what you do is you find the safest spot in your house. Now, this is a depiction of what we normally refer to as sea duct, but that's the center part of your house. You can get into that bathtub. The walls of a bathroom also have plumbing in them, which adds structural strength. A small room is better than a big room. So that is your primary place to go. And again, your house is obviously going to be different. But you also have like a closet on the interior there, which could also be a secondary safe spot. Where you don't want to be, these walls here by the windows, those are bad in that whole idea. So that's where you want to be. Looks like the staircase going down there. If you can get under that staircase, terrific. That's probably the best place you could get to, is underneath the staircase. That gets you set up in case the tornado is actually approaching you. For you folks that are in, let's put some communities on here again. For you folks that are in eastern Pulaski County, western Laurel County at this point. Anno, Goodwin, again, we're in the Daniel Boone Forest in a lot of these. So Billows, Sandy Gap, over toward Bernstadt, Whetstone, Goodwater, you guys should already be in your safe spots as we just described. If you are in London, you've got a couple of minutes, but don't take any more than a couple of minutes to get to where your safe spot is. And as we tell the kids with the Weather 101, don't panic. Think about where you want to go. If you've already done so, fantastic. You can get to where you need to be quickly. If you need to think about it right now, do so. Think about it. Where do you need to be? And get there and wait for the storm to pass. Again, the circulation remains fairly broad as we're looking there south of Billows. They were basically at the Laurel-Pulaski County line at this point. So again, if you were in this area, don't do this, but if you were in this area looking up, you would probably see a circulation in the clouds on a pretty broad scale. You may have a wall cloud going, you may have a rotating wall cloud going with this. Has anything dropped? Don't know for sure. Can't take that chance because it could also happen on a moment's notice. That's why you need to be in shelter and be prepared. When we talk about the tornado warning that's been issued for Laurel, you don't go out with your cell phone camera to try and get a picture of this. You get to your safe spot and wait for the storm to pass. If you're in High Top, you need to be in a safe spot at this point. If you're in Billows, probably. Bernstadt, yeah. Sublimity City, yep. London, yep. Be in that safe spot. Same over toward Keevee. So again, this is a tornado warning that goes until 7:15 for Laurel County. So again, that's the picture as we zoomed in on it. We have a new tornado warning that's clipping the southern part there of Dare County. So again, that's going to be out of our viewing area. We have a new tornado warning in Elliott County, also just out of our viewing area, but we'll highlight that for you if anybody might be watching us on an app. 7 o'clock for that tornado warning out of Elliott County, and that's going to be areas in and around Sandy Hook. Where we're looking at that. And with that, how you see the greens and the reds right next to each other there? So again, that's a much better signature, much more classic signature than what we were showing you down in Pulaski County. But we're talking about the greens and reds right next to each other. That's what we are speaking of. So again, there's your tornado warning for Elliott County. So again, just out of the LEX-18 viewing area. But again, you may be watching us on an app out there. The number of warnings obviously has come down in a significant way here in the last 15 minutes. So we're basically down to 3 cells that have the warnings issued for them. We'll put the radar back on so you get the full picture. So again, there's the full picture. You notice how this part of the line has oriented itself more east-west, And so it's going to slowly just sag its way south, but there's going to be some really heavy rain associated with it. The eastern flank is likely also going to basically begin to go stationary here with time. So we'll watch as that transpires. But again, your severe thunderstorm warning and your tornado warnings that we are concerned about are in Pulaski and in Laurel County. You're in central Kentucky, your severe weather threat is over. So certainly good news with that. But again, we're looking at the tornado warnings for Pulaski until 7:15, as well as for Laurel County until 7:15. These are, again, the only warnings that are left in our viewing area. That said, we still have bad weather on the flanks. So again, this is all south of Mount Vernon, east of Somerset, but it does clip London and just about to Corbin. So again, at the very least, there is very heavy rain ongoing with that. So there is your big picture. And we come back in locally. Let's see if we can find out where that best rotation is showing up. So again, it's trying. It is getting it closer together. This has shifted up a little more toward Billows at this point, where we're seeing that the increasing, the brighter greens, brighter the color, the stronger the wind. But the strong winds, again, are separated here. They are separated by a few miles here, about 7 miles from the strongest wind. So again, that's that broad rotation that we were talking about. If we were looking at this and it was, I mean, you are trying to get some reds and greens next to each other. So again, that's likely where your severe point is going to be, a little south of Billows. But again, that's on a path taking it awfully close to London. And this is now passed by Anno. Most of Pulaski County is just about out. It's right at the line at this point, right over the river. So you get back towards Stab and Benton, Dahl, you guys are out of the severe weather threat. But again, we're seeing that running from Billows south toward High Top with that particular tornado warning, where we're seeing the shear ongoing with this. Let me leave you the radar display just to give you something a little bit more classic to look at. Well, I go check data. And with that, there is, again, you got your tornado warning on screen. Oh, golly. And you're approaching we're at 650 here. All righty. Just seeing if they're doing anything with the potential tornadoes. Let's see. I apologize for the dead air there. So here's the thinking from the folks in Jackson. The warning itself still has some time left. Primary concern is straight line wind gusts, but given the history of spin-up signatures in this environment, the warning is going to be kept until its expiration time. So that means we are going to watch this tornado warning until 7:15. And like I said, it's trying to organize itself. It really is trying. But again, we'll see if it has, well, we don't want it to have success, obviously. But again, as we're saying, straight line winds are probably the bigger threat from this. So 7:15, the storms are getting now out of Pulaski County. And so this is going to become Laurel County. Again, we're at 6:51. So we still got about another 20 minutes, 25 minutes to go for this warning, although I think it'll be past the it'll be out of the box, out of the polygon by that time. Okay, so there's the radar picture. Let's see if we can see. Again, same idea. It's trying. It's going through cycles. Whether or not they've been successful, don't know. But again, this is not a big, long track tornado. That's not this. This is not this animal. This is a spin-up. It can happen. It can have 100-mile-an-hour winds. It can do damage, and it can be dangerous. And so again, we're seeing some co-location. Certainly under that, so whoever would be looking up at it, which they should not be doing, but would see the rotation going on with that on a broad scale. That again for your. That's going to be just to the west of London. So again, how far west? So we take you from London, about 8 miles, give or take, is where we're seeing that. So again, this is north of High Top. You've got strong winds there around high top, and again, everything's rotating on in. And the shear rate increasing some. You're getting the brighter greens almost to the yellows. So that, again, it's showing that the system is not done. That it's still being the storm that tries. It has not succeeded, hopefully, and hopefully will not. But we still have to keep that in mind as the tornado warning continues until 7:15. So as we go to the radar display again, just to see if we're done in Pulaski. We've got rain, certainly, in Pulaski. Heavy rain at that, but I think the severe threat is over, at least the tornadic threat is over once you get into Pulaski County. It looks like the main event now is on the Laurel side of the line, and so we'll continue to see that progress. So there again is what we are looking at, and again, it's not far from London. It's a tightening circulation. It's a tornadic storm that's been warned for, and so for folks who have been through this, it looks like the lightning's on the increase here just a little bit as well. So that up there toward Pittsburgh. So again, you can see the rotation going here. And yes, it is tightening up. So again, you're getting the brighter greens and the brighter reds coming together. You folks in London, you're in shelter now. No ifs, ands, or buts. Your time is up. Sublimity City, you are in shelter now. You need Pine Grove, you see that showing up there. You guys are in shelter now, and I hate to say that for you folks, but you know what you need to do here at this point. You've been through so many storms, but again, the potential is certainly there. So it's this area that we're watching right in here. This is where it's trying to come together. Between Bernstadt and High Top is where we're seeing that. Now again, a lot of this is forest. There's not a lot of roads even coming through here. So that is where we're seeing this. That is at the point, but again, it's not too far from where it's going to emerge out to where there are a lot more people. And that's what we have to be cognizant of. So again, what the radar is seeing is that's toward the radar, that's away from the radar. There is your circulation point. And that again showing up between High Top and Bernstadt in Laurel County. So you got I-75 right there. So this is west of I-75. How far west? So you got I-75, so again, just about into London, about 5 miles west of I-75. So again, that'll be there in a minute or two. Overall lightning count has gone down a little, but with that, at this point, is not a huge trend one way or the other. So again, that's the point of greatest concern. That's the best look we've got at it. We go to the live. Again, it's not showing up as anything on our radar display aside from heavy rain. So that is the area that we are looking though. So again, we'll keep it on the Jackson radar. That's the closer one to it, so it gets the best look. So again, you're seeing everything there to the west of London. Be in your safe spots. Again, Pulaski County, you guys are out of the warning, so you're fine. Rockcastle was included in this. You guys are out of it, so you guys are also okay. Laurel County, though, for another 20 minutes, we have the warning in place and a storm that is trying again to get its act together. The warning is going to be in place until 7:15. The folks at the Weather Service said just by the nature of this storm, they're going to let this warning ride to its expiration time. Given how it's trying to ramp up a little bit, certainly can understand why doing that. We were checking debris earlier, and there's nothing on that. So just that also tells us that there hasn't been anything big on the ground yet. That said, again, as this tries to tighten up, there may be something small, but small can still be dangerous in this scenario. So we are looking at that cell south of Bernstadt, just to the west of Sublimity City, just to the west of I-75. It's beginning to get close to London. And nothing else, you've got really heavy rain ongoing now in London. London, there goes Laurel County. Trying to get the radar back up here. There it is. Yeah, so if nothing else, it's just heavy rain ongoing as well. You've got those winds that are pushing south, though, and then wrapping back up in. But again, there's not a classic tornado signature on that, although that is also becoming a little separated from the rest of the line. And that's also where the line begins to make its turn. So there's some shear available there that it's trying to tap into. So you folks in London, you are in shelter for another 15 minutes. Make sure we get back on there, Laurel back on that. Again, Rockcastle County, the storm has passed. Lasky storm has passed you. I suspect at 7 o'clock and just basically make it a Laurel County warning. Will they continue that after 7:15 and send it into Clay County, maybe Knox? So again, we now have reds and greens that have come together. So as we've been talking about, this storm has tightened up. So again, just to the south and southwest there of London, you at least have a rotation that is going on with this storm. It is a rotation that is tightening. That means that you're going to begin to see some increases in speeds of this. The question is, does it reach the ground? That the radar does not tell us unless there is a debris signature that comes along, and that's usually only the bigger tornadoes where something like that would happen anyway. The radar beam is aloft at this point, so it's not at the surface. The bottom line is the radar gives us the indications of what's going on, but it doesn't tell us exactly what's going on. If that makes sense at all. But until 7:15, you have this tornado warning that is in place for Laurel County. So again, just to the south and southwest of London. So the skit that is shown up here, and we'll put the time on. Again, if that whole cell is moving to the southeast or not, but that's how the skit picked it up at this point. You see Pine Grove, Sublimity City, and Lilly, Boring at 7:14. Pine Grove is 7:06, Sublimity City 7:07. The BTI number, that's the tornado. Again, talk about things, what that skit is. We can it for you here, or try to. Pull that off. So, what we're talking about here is the storm tracks. And this is what the Doppler radar is measuring. It basically gives us an area to focus on. There are different types of skit. They provide the useful information we see, and they're triggered within algorithms within the radar displays, within the radar systems themselves. You've got the pink ones that are showing the severe potential, hail, strong winds, heavy rain. The oranges are shear. So that's rotation, potential where there could be a tornadic cell. There are ones that come from our vendor, which is called Barron. Those are proprietary, and they're ones that come from the National Weather Service. They are different types of skits. The ones from Barron, we tend to prefer those. They tend to be a little more precise. But that being said, you see the storm motion, which, by the way, is increasing, or the rotation is increasing here. But I think the motion is actually a little bit more east than southeast. So again, how we're talking about this. Pine Grove, Sublimity City. Again, you folks cannot be in shelter fast enough at this point because this storm is trying, and it's trying really hard to get its act together. How you see the reds and the greens have now basically come together. And this is now going to be also coming toward the south side of London. The cell itself, we've been watching it over the last 10 minutes, how it's gone from a broad circulation to a tightening one. That means the rotation is increasing. The chances of it reaching the ground are also increasing. So that's why you need to be in shelter now. That tornado warning 7:15, and again, Pine Grove, Sublimity City, again, the folks who were hit so hard back May a year ago. London, same idea. You guys need to be in that shelter now as that rotation does begin to increase. So again, you've got the brighter greens and some brighter red going up coincidentally now. So again, that overall rotation has tightened up. Again, the radar display has not been, well, tornado warning just got extended. And with that, tornado warning is now going to be until 7:30 for Laurel County. It's going to be now including Knox County, and it's going to clip a little part of Clay County, but that's just because they didn't draw the squiggly line. So that is now a new tornado warning. It's going to be in effect until 7:30, and that is going to include now most of Laurel County, as far north as Pittsburgh. You folks in London are included in that. Doesn't quite clip Corbin. So again, we'll see the storms passing close by. Lily's included, Fairston's included. A lot of the communities that were hit a year ago are included in this. So with that, again, we can't emphasize enough, Sublimity City, Pine Grove. Folks around Wyan Pine Grove School, you guys are the ones who need to be in shelter at this point. The tornado warning for Laurel County now until 7:30. So again, we were figuring that was going to get advanced as this storm was trying to tighten up. And indeed, it has. In terms of the shear marker that we were talking about with this earlier. So again, you've got the brighter colors showing up. It's not into the reds yet, but certainly showing a stronger signature just to the southwest of London. So again, this is taking aim at Sublimity City. It's just to the west at this point of I-75. Which that's, okay, I've got a lot of reds going here. It's that line right there is I-75, okay? So again, it's just to the west of it where we're seeing that. And again, the shear beginning to increase, and you do indeed have the reds and the greens now, stronger rotation showing up potentially there, and this is just northwest of Pine Grove. So you folks there need to be sheltered now from this cell. So again, we are literally, what, a mile, not even a mile from Pine Grove? Yeah, a mile to where that rotation is showing up. The storm's on point and getting ready to move close to I-75. And again, we're showing again the stronger rotation showing up. And this is the best view of it. I know you're used to seeing the radars with the reds and the yellows and the oranges and the greens and the blues. It doesn't show this cell, this type of system as well. So it's the velocity here that's showing you where that rotation is. And again, how it's gone from being spread out to tightening up. And if you weren't with us earlier, the analogy that I use with the kids when I'm teaching them in Weather 101, it's an ice skater. When you watch them wanting to do the spinny things they do, they start out with their arms wide, but when they tighten them up is when they start going around really fast. Same process works here. Starts out as a broader rotation. As it tightens up, it increases the speed, which then also increases the possibility that something actually reaches the ground. And again, we've got the reds and the greens now co-located together. And so there is a probability that you've got something, if not on the ground, something spinning pretty fast aloft. And that again is just about to Sublimity City. So that's part of the, just about to Pine Grove. So again, that's your tornado warning until 7:30 for folks that are in Laurel County, and that does extend into parts of Knox County as well. You folks are in shelters. You are waiting for this storm to come by. You are not on the front porch trying to get a picture of it. You are doing everything you can to stay safe as this storm continues moving eastward and is still in a very favorable environment for these storms to continue to spin, to intensify, and also dropping very heavy amounts of rain. So again, we're looking at, we're also issuing a flash flood warning for northern Pulaski and western Rockcastle County. So again, that's a new flash flood warning that is coming in for folks that are in northern Pulaski as well as for Rockcastle County. So again, we've got a lot of stuff going on here for you. Let me get the flood warning on here, the flood warnings on here as well. And I'll show you those coming up here in just a second. But again, Pine Grove, Sublimity City, south side of London, you guys are in your safe spots. You are being safe at this point. And we've talked many times about where those safe spots are. Get the lowest level you can. You want to be center part of your house. You do not want to be in a manufactured home or a mobile home. So hopefully you've already known where to go and got there before these storms approached. But again, there's the update. So again, it's essentially over Pine Grove at this point. Fairston and Lily will be the next points in target for this. And again, there's probability that this is on the ground if we don't have confirmation yet. But again, it's now crossing I-75. So this is not far from Wyan Pine Grove Elementary. So it's passing south of London. But again, you've got your co-located reds and greens right there over I-75. We were talking about the flash flood warning So again, we've had the heavy rain. So flash flood warning is going to be for Pulaski County and Rockcastle County here until 9:45 with your flash flood warnings. So that's one of the other things that it's going on here is these have been dropping exceedingly heavy rains. You also have flash flood warnings in Mercer County, Boyle County, as well as Garrett County until 9 o'clock. Anderson County until 7:45. So that one still has a few more minutes. There was some flooding in downtown Lawrenceburg earlier. But that gets you up to speed on the flood warnings that are out there as well. So we've got that. Let's go ahead and now bring you back to the tornado warnings. So that is the serious, well, they're all serious, but the reason why we're on with the wall-to-wall coverage at this point. So again, you can see the reds and the greens. You can see coming together. So you've got stronger winds on the outside spiraling in toward the middle, which is now almost over Fairston at this point. So again, your tornado warning for Laurel until 7:30, and that it now extends getting out toward, that's still going to be Laurel out there, northern part of Knox County, Arkell, Gray, Gibbs until 7:30 as well. So again, for you folks in Knox, there you go, 7:30. Passing just north of Corbin. So again, the warning does not include Corbin at this point, but it does, you've got Sublimity City and Fairston. Again, these are Pine Grove. Right there is where we're seeing this storm coming through at this point. Again, if there's rotation, that's where it is. If there's a tornado, that's where it is at this point. And again, we've been showing you just the velocity displays here because that's where it shows up most vividly. Just real quick to share. Yeah, same idea with the shear. But just so we can show you what the radar looks like, and it's, again, been difficult to pick anything out. So again, you've got just basically radar is showing the big blob of stuff, which is obviously very, very heavy rain. But you've got the leading edge down there between Dorothy and Corbin, where you're going to have some strong winds ongoing as well. So that's why we haven't been showing much of the radar display out of Jackson. Classic hook signatures that we had on some of the storms earlier. That said, these are embedded within the overall parent circulation. So again, for Fairston and Lilly and Boring, you guys are in shelter now. What's going on is you can see the sharp outline where the winds are diving south on the backside of the system. The circulation then curls it back up, and it's in that shear that you begin to develop this. You see again how they're tightening up around Fairston. In fact, it should be over Fairston by now. Lesbos and Boring, it's on its way towards you. Sublimity City, it's again on top of you. Pine Grove, it's there right now. Lilly, it's also on top of you right now. You guys are the ones, my goodness, be in the shelters right now. Bernstadt, East Bernstadt, you guys are past the worst of this system. This circulation is holding together between Lilly and Fairston at this point as we continue in that tornado warning that's in Laurel County until 7:30. So again, the circulation is passing now east of I-75. It's passing by Highway 25 at this point. So it's going to be headed toward Fletcher, Boring. Again, you folks need to be in shelters as we're getting to the eastern part there of Laurel County. Northern part of this, right now I don't see anything going on that Pittsburgh, East Bernstadt that would be worrisome for you at this point aside from the heavy rain. So you guys, I think from the tornadic aspect, you guys are going to be okay at this point. Quick check on the radar. Yeah, you've got just the rain. Heavier stuff is down to your south. Again, Laurel or Pulaski County has been out of all this as well. So this is the circulation now that has maintained itself for about 15 minutes or so, a pretty decent circulation that we've been watching with this as we continue this warning now until 7:30. It had weakened some, but again, has been showing signs of intensification. In fact, the lightning is beginning to increase as well as we look at that. You see there, Fairston to Lilly, some of the cloud to ground light strike. So the lightning is increasing with this storm. So the storm is trying again to cycle forward, to increase as you see the storm working off to the east and southeast. Your warning continues for another 18 minutes as it heads then south of the Hal Rogers Parkway. So again, Hal Rogers Parkway is a northern boundary for this, and again, it's actually a few miles south of the Hal Rogers, and will continue heading to the east and southeast. Boring, Fletcher, you guys are going to be the ones next in line from this. It's going to be close to campgrounds, close to Grays. We're getting into Knox County at that point. So This is the cell that we continue to watch. Your shear rate still is on the lower end, but there's still something there. But again, we're watching the lightning strikes are on the increase. That was over the last 15 minutes. So that tells you at least there is something going on here. Quick check off the Jackson radar display again, just to highlight for you. The heavy rain is around. I mean, torrential rain is involved with this. But beyond that, the strong rotation has been around Lily and Boring. Again, it may not be the caliber of what we saw, and it's not. It's still dangerous. That's why you need to be in shelter now. On the big picture, just to bring everybody back up to speed. So again, you see the various flood warnings. Your tornado warnings are in the south. Anything to the north is basically done. That is a tornado warning that's going to be in eastern Kentucky. All things I actually hit the skit on there. That's going to be out, looks like toward Martin County. Lawrence County is where that one is. So again, you're in far eastern Kentucky. The ones we're worried about, this one right here. So Laurel County until 7:30 with that warning. So let's go ahead and zoom it back in. We've gotten you reset. You guys, again, how many times have we said you need to be in shelter? At this point, you're west of 75. You're hold just a little bit. Probably the main circulation is getting past you. Now this thing also looks like it's beginning to expand out again. So you're doing radar analysis on the fly with me, and the is broadening here a little bit. So again, one of the cycles that we've talked about how many times here. So again, it's showing that, okay, it can't maintain that tighter and tries to continue to cycle through. So there may be a little bit of a broadening here. Do not leave shelter, even though it's broadening at this point. I'm just showing through the analysis. So at least the tighten has stopped, at least on this current pass-through. That is certainly good news with that, but still a concentrated area, and this is now all generally east of I-75 that we're seeing this. So Boring, again, you folks are in your shelters now. Nothing showing up on the shears. Well, just checking that. Just for interest, so you're seeing some stuff, but again, we're probably not into the debris category. So again, it may be picking up some hail going in there as well. So that just gets you set up on all the things that we can look at here. Again, a slightly broadening circulation there between Fairston and Boring, just to the north of Lily. This is on a track going to the southeast. So you folks in Fletcher, in Tuttle, in Gibbs, you are the next ones in line. Lesbos, same idea. You are the next ones in line with all. And as it continues going east-southeast, so it's still within the warning area until 7:30. And again, the lightning with these systems continues. That's 15 minutes worth of lightning, by the way. So again, this is all north of Corbin. It is south of London. So again, kind of split between those two communities. It's pretty close to the London Corbin Airport again. But again, you see Boring there. We'll wait for the next scan. In fact, we'll go to the Max Raster is going to show you that it's a blob of rain. And that's just a function of the radar right now. We're trying to. There it is. So again, not getting a whole lot of definition that far out. It shows that you've got that line right in there, and there's not much that you would pull out other than the fact that, again, it's raining hard, but you, again, have the potentially dangerous situation that is running just east of Lily now at this point. So, again, you've got the severe thunderstorm in progress, but you also have the tornado warning that continues in progress until 7:30 for Laurel County. So we'll bring you back to the way we've been viewing this the best. And that's on the storm relative there. Make sure there's nothing sneaking in behind, and no. So again, this is the, and again, really broadening on the circuit. Look at the change there. So again, and sometimes when you're seeing nothing there, it's essentially moving parallel to the radar. The radar detects coming toward or going away. It doesn't detect moving parallel. And so that may be what we're getting there, kind of in that broad area in the middle, but it also says this thing is expanding out. So we may be in a declining phase, but with that said, the warning is going to last for another 12 minutes. Now the question is, does it get extended? Now you also have to wonder, okay, because as these systems evolve, the centers of circulation can change. It doesn't stay one point within the whole swath of the storm. And so are we seeing something here down by campgrounds on the southern flank of all this? So maybe that circulation lost the battle, but we may be seeing a new one trying to reform down here further to the south. That's a possibility. And so campgrounds in gray, Arkell, Fletcher, you still need to be very, very vigilant with all of this and in shelter. The storm, again, past Corbin. It is past I-75. So it's going to get into southeastern parts of Kentucky. For you folks out toward Girdler, you're not into the warning yet, but the storms are headed your way. It looks like they pulled the severe thunderstorm warning that was associated with this. So right now, the tornado warning is the only game in town, aside from the flood warnings that we also have ongoing. And again, the heavy rain has been a big part of this as well. So this is what we're looking at here. The number of lightning strikes has been generally on the increase, and we'll wait to see if we see anything else coming out of this. The shear, again, it's not as impressive as it was. It's spread out. There's not as much bright colors. So again, that makes that, as you are trying to do analysis, the bright colors draw your eye to it, and it's like, hey, look here. So when you're seeing not as much of that, it's like, okay, there's not as much going on. So this is all good. But again, until that red polygon goes away, we're going to be here telling you what is going on. And I know if you've been watching us for a while, we may have repeated ourselves a few times. But again, we're trying to keep folks safe, as this has been really a pretty strong event for a lot of us. It'll be interesting to see this evening what finally has come out of all this. Certainly a heavy rain for a lot of folks. And again, we've had a couple of videos that certainly look like tornadoes with some of the earlier warnings. So here at 7:20, and again, it's a broad circulation that's showing up here. And that is kind of what we want to, if we're going to see that tighten back up again. So when the next scan comes in, if that is tightened back up, then we're looking at the potential of this thing going through another cycle. The big picture with the rain. So again, this is just traditional. See, here we go. You folks in Corbin have had the strong storm come through. You probably had some pretty strong winds. This is just outside the current warning, but you saw it there. The southern flank of all this, it looks like it may be trying to pull a little something in. So we're going to keep an eye on that over the next few minutes and see if this all gets expanded, or if that was just a one-time, hey, we're going to throw a little notch on there for you. Trying to see if there's anything else that shows up there around Gibbs. You've got a pretty decent. What you're seeing there is the gust front coming through, the shelf cloud, if you were watching that, which you should not be. But if you're in Cannon, outside the warning, you can look to your northwest and you see that coming out. Now we'll see if the warning gets expanded out. But campgrounds, you're going to be just to the southeast of Corbin. Gray and Arkell, again, I want you all to be prepared with all this. So again, what we were looking at down to the south, all of a sudden now we're starting to see something else maybe trying to get going down here north of Wilton to the south and southeast of Corbin. So you're down into Knox County, almost into Whitley County with that. Meanwhile, the circulation we've been looking at coming through southeastern parts of Laurel County, that continues to be broad. So that part may have cycled itself out and maybe giving way to something down here more south. So we'll keep an eye on that to see if that, gesundheit, Larry, if that turns into anything. So right now, nothing with that. We're watching it. I'm sure the folks up in Jackson are watching it. But given this environment, they may go ahead and extend the warning out. There you see again, it's a pretty broad swath that's coming through here with just that circulation that's embedded in the middle. that again is a very broad circulation at that. But again, that's the one we're kind of watching right there. Back to you start paying attention to one place, and you've got this storm out here by Somerset and Burnside. Nothing warned for it. Nothing warned for it at this point, aside from a flash flood warning from what came through earlier. That's something else that'll need to be watched here. But again, we're about 7 minutes away from the expiration of the main warning. Again, we're not seeing quite as much, and on the edge there is always concerning. So again, it's a broader circulation between Gray, Corbin, Wilton, and Arkell. We're watching that. The circulation that we had been paying attention to that had tightened up has loosened up. That said, you still, if you are east of I-75, south of the Hal Rogers, south of a line from Fairson to Boring to Gibbs, you're still being vigilant and staying in shelter. Now again, the question is this going to get expanded? And that's going to be just north of Woodbine at this point where we're seeing that. No indication yet whether it's going to get expanded out. So again, your tornado warning until 7:30 for Laurel. Nothing new has come out, so let me check the data again real quick while you stay on that imagery. And nothing better than a computer that goes to sleep every 10 minutes. All right. Okay, good news from the folks at Jackson. The Laurel County tornado warning will expire, but it will be expiring at 7:30. Nothing else has been indicated is going to come out after that. Okay, and in fact, well, what time? It's 7:20. So technically, no, it's going to expire at 7:30. So that's where we are. So I was about to say you guys could do 4 minutes of news, but you know what? I'll finish it up.
Bring her home, Bill.
All right. All right. So again, from the folks at the Weather Service, this is going to expire at 7:30. We said that at 6:32, and then the system decided to fire back up again. There is a modicum of concern just outside this warning on the southern flank here. So that to the south of Gray. So you've got this trying to loop back in and around Arkell. We'll see if they have the propensity to go ahead and advance this. If nothing else, there are still strong winds and heavy rain ongoing with this. If you're in your shelters in eastern Laurel County, northern part there of Knox County, stay there for a couple of more minutes, okay? You know, even though we're saying the warning is going to be discontinued, and the circulation that we've been looking at has certainly weakened, just no sense taking chance when you're just a couple minutes away. So be there for a couple of more minutes. Crane's Nest and Gibbs, when we're looking at the circulation, so again, still just to the west of these two communities. Nothing, there's still a lot of wind aloft, but again, it's broadened out, and so it hasn't focused yet. We'll see if that tries to focus back in the next few minutes. You're seeing some brighter greens showing up. Anything on the main line? Yeah, nothing really going on there either. So that is what we're looking at. So Woodbine over to Arkell. One area to look. Crane's Nest. I mean, it's kind of getting out of the warning polygon at this point. Certainly heavy rain ongoing. A broad circulation, and it's not showing much focus at this point, and that's all great news. That's all very good. But still could be some strong winds associated with it, but at this point, there's no indication that anything would be spinning out of that. But with that said, we've got 3 more minutes to go on the official warning, and we hope that this is it for the evening, and that we can go ahead and settle things out and get you to BBN tonight, coming up at 7:30. Coming up at LEX 18 News at 11, every story that you didn't see today will be there. So with all that, again, it's a weaker circulation, but there's a nice little spin there around Arkell, but again, it's not intense. So that part is good. Again, we're just examining this on the final couple of minutes here of the warning before it goes away. So it looks like most everything is remaining really broad on this. And again, we're thankful for that at this point. Yeah, heavier rain, certainly. There may be a little small hail there, Crane's Nest over to Gibbs, but nothing indicating that this would be a spinning storm. So again, we'll be with you just for the final 2 minutes and let this warning play itself out as it gets into Knox County, into Clay County, and points to the east and southeast. New severe thunderstorm warning has come out, so it's a storm that we're watching on the backside here. So this is a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for Pulaski County, including Somerset, including Burnside, including Lake Cumberland until 8 o'clock. That severe thunderstorm warning also includes McCreary County. It also includes parts of Whitley County. It includes the southwestern corner of Laurel County. This is going to be in effect until 8 o'clock. So with that cell that's over here by Burnside, you know, we're just kind of looking at that one briefly. It has a broad rotation going with it basically over Lake Cumberland at this point, right there around Burnside. So right now it's a broad, fairly weak rotation, but given the way things have been going today, it may or may not be warned for. We certainly hope not. What you were also looking at by Cedar Grove there, it's probably got some hail with it. And given the lightning display, that's a pretty decent bet. So you're looking at some hail there around Cedar Grove. The tornado warning itself, we are about a minute to go. The lightning has begun to tick up again as we look out there on the eastern flank getting into Knox County. So we'll see if that ends up being anything else. The storm relatives on this, again, remain broad. But we'll watch that area south of Arc. So a couple of weak rotation areas showing up in Pulaski County, where there's a severe thunderstorm warning, and in northern Knox County, where we're about to exit out of the tornado warning. So with that, we'll put the max track on here for you, because that warning should be expiring here any second. And when that happens, we get you to BBN tonight and take you home. That warning just disappeared. That warning just disappeared. You see the various flash flood warnings that are out there. And with that, we'll continue to monitor these storms as they go through southern Kentucky over the next couple of hours. And hopefully, this is the last time we have to break in for you. With that, it is time to get you to Keith Farmer and Maggie Davis and BBN Tonight.
Our exclusive series with UK women's